Side, we're good, Gregory.
Yes, sir.
All right. Let's see, as folks are joining in, we will get started. We had a minor technical issue on my end that we wanted to get cleared up before we started the stream. Ugh. All right, Gregor, let me know. Let's see. If I turn the chat on.
It is live. I can see it on YouTube itself right now.
Oh, I see Colton.
Yep.
I see Haley Lewis. Cool. Yeah, guys, jump on and say hello if you're in the chat. We're going to be giving away a lot of stuff tonight. This is our first open, Gregor, this is our first open mat of the year, man.
For real?
Yeah, we didn't do one this year.
Holy cow.
We had one, I think, in February. We were like, let's do it in February. And then we were both like, yeah, let's and then everything got away from us. So if we did one, I'm just blanking on it and can't remember, but I feel like this is the first one. So as folks are jumping on, so here's what we're going to do tonight. This open mat, we're going to try to, as always, we'll do some Q&A. I'm going to be watching the stream. Gregory's going to be helping me wrangle the stream. We may have
And that is the technical problem we were having earlier.
Did it boot me off again?
It did boot you off again.
All right. Well, we were booted on
my blood pressure just went to 180.
Gregory, you're the star of this show. Wait, Colton says we did one 9 months ago. Maybe we did one back in February and then we didn't do one after that. I don't remember. Yeah, so guys, anyway, there's a technical glitch. So if I get booted off, hang with us. Gregory will bring me back on as it happens. And you can direct all your hate mail to him because I'm clueless on technology. Speaking of,
send all your hate mail to hate@biblehacking.com.
Yeah. Yeah, speaking of, what are you working on, man? You got anything coming up tech-wise, Gregory?
Lots. January is typically when companies, churches, special churches, prep for the upcoming year. So they want to talk strategy. They do trainings. They do a lot of leadership conferences.
Yeah.
The first quarter of the year is usually completely bananas for me. And I got conferences booked out the teeth already where I'm speaking, meaning I'm not like my conference.
Yeah.
I'll be speaking at a lot of churches and conferences and leadership conferences and some church leadership conferences about AI, about theology of technology, so to speak. How should Christian think about technology? You know, the typical kind of stuff I talk about. So it's going to be a fun year. As I get links to those things, I will always post them on social. So you can come and join me. I know for sure the end of January, somewhere around the 20th, somewhere thereabouts, there's going to be a huge one with about 10,000 attendees in Dallas. For sure, I'll be there. I just don't have pricing and link. Again, it's not my conference.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'll send a bunch of those links on my social as they post. So if you want to find them, if you're interested in coming to those types of things, follow me on social.
That'd be awesome. Yeah, you should be following Bible hacking or hacker hiking, right?
Hacking and myself personally as well. Both content duplicates on both of them. So yeah.
Yep. Be following Gregory. Have you been able to use Logos AI stuff enough to have an opinion on it yet?
I have an opinion on it.
Because I haven't touched it. They offered me to upgrade, and I said if I'd review, and I was like, right now I just can't process another thing to learn and to mess with because I have such a stack of things to review. But if you've used it at all, what are your thoughts? Because people have asked me, and I'm like, I don't know.
Let me preface this, and my preface is going to give everyone an indication as to where this is going. I love Logos. I spent a metric crap ton of money on Logos. The college that I did my seminary at was a Logos partner or whatever. So I also have a lot of Logos books through there. I probably got 20,000 books inside of my Logos. Like I'm really hardcore Logos, but their AI is not the greatest.
Yeah.
I get way better results copying and pasting my biblical references into ChatGPT, Gemini, Claude, and right now the leader for me is Google Gemini, and asking it to do stuff with it. Hey, you know, here's, and the key is always give the tool, the AI tool, the full context. So don't tell it, hey, I want to do a study on the first chapter of Mark.
Right.
Copy and paste the first chapter of Mark and give it to it and say, I want to do a study on this. Give me 5 questions, think up 3 great points, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do. I do that religiously. And it works just the results are significantly better than had I done it inside of Logos. So yeah, I'm not a fan of the Logos AI. That being said, AI, like every other tool, a year ago, probably 9 months ago, when we did the last live that you and I both have forgotten, I would have probably said ChatGPT is the best AI model out there. They are absolutely no longer the best AI model. So those things change.
Yeah.
So, you know, give it a, someone said I probably have 5 that I purchased on Logos. Last time I checked, I had about 23,000 books inside of Logos.
Yeah. I think I did. I had to get I had to reboot my iPad. It was doing the thing where it was always registering touches. So I had to reboot it, which means I had to factory reset and put everything back on. And I think I had like 3,000 Logos books. So you're leaving me in the dust. But I know you take everything that they give whenever they give it.
100%.
You also do. But also I split between accordance.
Yeah, I don't. I've always used, well, since Logos became Logos, I've always used them. I moved my whole library there. Okay. Yeah, this is going to give me the heebie-jeebies tonight. I'm going to tell you that right now with JM getting kicked out every now and then. I'm going to be totally freaked out. Hold on, he's back. Let me get him back in. There we go. Yeah, I am not a happy camper right now, bro.
It happens, man.
But it's been fast. You pop right back in. So
yeah, that's fine. If I get kicked out, that's just the spirit saying stop talking.
There you go.
Move on to this.
Spirit saying stop talking and give someone a book.
Yeah, let's do some giveaways early on. For those who jumped in early, we're going to give some pretty good stuff away. So the way it works, the way we typically do giveaways, if you win something on this live stream, guys, I cannot stress this enough. You have to email me. I can't magically give the books to you. And if you want to win something and you volunteer to win something, which is what we'll do, we'll ask you to put something in the chat in just a minute, and you win it, and then you don't email me, it sits on my shelf, and that means that somebody else that wanted to win it didn't win it. And that's happened every single stream we've done. We've had at least 5 people just never email me. And so what they won just sits here, which bums me out because there's a lot of people that want some of this stuff. So keep that in mind. Can you, Gregory, how many do we have in the chat? Can you see the numbers?
We have 67 people on the stream right now.
And that's plenty.
That comment that you see on the screen from at Haley Lewis with a number behind it, that was the first comment.
Okay. Well, we're going to give away something that I have 3 copies of, and we can give one of those to Haley if she commented first. So the first giveaway that we're going to do, let me see if our overhead works. Does it work?
Yep. Fantastic.
All right. So we're going to give away, I reviewed this, the Connecting Scripture New Testament. And if you saw the review, Holman sent me a few copies. So one copy we're going to give away is the hardback. Then they also sent me this brown leather type edition. And then I'm going to actually give away the genuine leather edition that I reviewed. So this is the actual one I reviewed. There may be a couple of stray highlight marks in certain spots. Yeah, like in Revelation, there's some of my highlights, but this is the one that I reviewed in that video, genuine leather. So let's do, Gregory, what should we have them put in the chat?
How about we just give this first one to the first person that commented, which was that young lady?
So yes, first comment was, who was it? Haley.
Yep.
Yeah. Haley, if you're still on, just put something in the chat to say yes, and you will win the genuine leather. The first one that we give away, you'll win this copy. I'll set that aside for you. But if you don't indicate it in the chat, then I'm going to give it to somebody else. before the end of this stream. So we're going to make you guys be on it if you want to actually win some of this stuff. Okay, the other two, we got two here. So let's do the first people, the first person to oh, there's Haley. All right, Haley, you have claimed the first one. So Haley, you have to email me, discipledojo@gmail. Say when you email me, give me your full name, your address, and tell me you won the connecting scripture, because I don't have time to like write sticky notes on all of them, and I'm going to lose track of who won what. So when you email me, say leather connecting scripture prize winner or something like that. Okay, we got two more. Let's say the oops. All right, first person to first two people that we see in the chat to type in, let's do type the word Holman, Holman. The first two that Gregory sees, because I'm not seeing the chat as good as he is, and he'll tell me who wins these in descending order. So the next one will be the leather ish edition, and then the next one will be the hardcover. So comment in the chat Holman, Holman, to be entered to win these connecting scriptures from our friend at Holman. All right, who do we have?
First one, holy cow! Of course, there's going to be like 1,700.
Yeah, guys, this is going to be luck of the draw. You know, we got a lot of stuff to give away, so if you don't win,
that's the first one.
All right, the leather one.
Yep, D Kai with a bunch of eyes, 98. Person that only has 5 books in her logos library.
All right.
So D Kai 98 was the first one, and the second one will be Watchtower. Oops, sorry, Watchtower Hunter.
All right, Watchtower. Hey, it's Watchtower Hunter's birthday today. His or hers. I just see the name. 60th birthday. I saw them say it in the chat. So your 60th birthday, you're going to win the hardback. And the other is D Kali 98.
Yep, correct.
All right. So Watchtower Hunter, D Kali 98. Email discipledojo@gmail.com and put Holman connecting scripture. And yeah, I'll try to remember who got which one, but just tell me which one you got and honor system. Okay. Next up, we're going to do a giveaway. This is a book that Gregory wanted when I showed him. And this is, we're going to give away a copy of Lost Words and Forgotten Worlds, Rediscovering the Dead Sea Scrolls. This is by Andrew Perrin. I have not reviewed this as a full review, but I have done some, I've mentioned it on one of the What I'm Reading episodes, but this is all about the history of the Dead Sea Scrolls, how they were found, what they are, why they're important. It's a really good book, and our friends at Lexham Academic publish it, and they sent me 2 copies for some reason. Sometimes that happens. They send me a review copy, and then somebody else in the same department sends me a review copy because they didn't get the memo. So I have 2. That means I'm going to give one of these away. So this one, let's say the first person to put in the chat. Gregor, you tell me when you're ready.
I'm ready.
Okay. First person to put in the chat, and it's got to be all capitals, DSS, Dead Sea Scrolls. DSS. Put that in the chat if you want to win this copy. Lost Words and Forgotten Worlds. And again, if you don't win, you can keep trying. If you do win for now, don't re-enter. Just because we don't want like one person that has a fast connection.
Here we go. Colton won the first one.
Oh, Colton Honeycutt. Colton is always on our premieres.
Facts.
When we do a premiere, Colton's always on. So I'm so glad to send this to you. Colton, just shoot me an email or Facebook. We're friends on Facebook. So you just message me and let me know that you won this one. I may or may not remember.
Were we doing the first one or the first 2? What did you say?
Just the first one, because I only have 1 copy of that. Gotcha. But we're going to do some more giveaways. This one, we're going to have... all right, let's do... I'm trying to figure out how to do All right, we're going to do a couple more Bible studies, and then we'll actually start giving away some Bibles. Since we just did one from Lexham, we'll do one more from Lexham. They sent me, this is from their Planted in the Word Bible study series. This is their 40-day Bible study on Mark. This is by Brian Vickers, and it is literally, if you want to do 40 days, I think this would be great for Lent, especially, but it just breaks up Mark into 40 sections for daily Bible study. There's study prompts. There's a prayer at the end, so you could use this for small groups. You could use it on your own. So we're going to give this one away to the first person who puts in, and then we're going to do some random ones later. Some of you that are wondering, because you're going to have a slow connection, we got the spin the wheel thing that we'll do later for some of them. But we're trying to get through these at first because I have a huge stack. So first person to put.
Show that book on the camera, the overhead camera again. I want to see the name.
Here we go. Mark.
40-day study by Vickers.
Brian Vickers. Mark, 40-day study, the Planted in the Word. And this is also by Lexham Press. Okay, so the first person to put the word Mark in the chat, M-A-R-K, Mark, you will be registered to win this. Mark. And then we'll do one more Bible study after this one as these are coming in. It looks like it takes a few seconds on my end. It does on your end too. Okay,
there
cool.
We go. Boom.
Yeah, and then they all come at once.
Very first one is there.
All right.
Barbara Lennon, 321. You are the winner of the Mark study called Mark, a 40-day study planted in the Word. And JM is back. Thank Jesus.
There we go. This is going to be a reoccurring theme throughout the night, guys. Bear with us.
Reoccurring nightmare for me.
So, Barbara Lennon 321, email discipledojo@gmail.com and say Mark Bible Study. Give me your name and your address. You guys would be surprised. People would email me that they won and not send me their address. And I was just like, I don't know what to do with that.
Someone earlier on in the chat suggested no superhero delivery.
Yeah, I wish.
Drop it off. Superman, someone.
Yeah, they have slightly more pressing issues. Okay, we'll do one more, and this one I believe is for the ladies out there. So someone donated this copy of, how do you say her name, chat? How do you say this name? I see this name all the time on Christian Girl Instagram stories and reels, and I don't know how you say it. Is it Lissa? Is it Lisa? Is it Liza? How do you say her name? I don't know, but I know that people go bananas over her stuff. TerKeurst, I know that's TerKeurst. So anyway, this is a 40 days through the Bible, answers to your deepest longings. A viewer donated this for a giveaway. I know nothing about it. I'm not the target audience, but I know that she is a popular Bible study author. So if you want this, okay, everybody's saying like Lisa. Good. I'm glad to know that. And I'm also annoyed at her parents for spelling it that way. Okay, if you want Lisa TerKeurst's 40 days in the Bible study, ladies or fellas, if you want it for that special lady, Gregory, give us a word. Suggest a word that they can put in the chat.
Lysa with a Y, L-Y-S-A.
Oh, wait, everybody's already done that. Or have they? No, they've done it the right way. Okay, yeah. First person to put her actual name, Lisa with a Y, in the chat, then you get to be the winner of it. All right. Forever Hallelujah asks, I just got in. Will there a chance to ask a question? Yes, but only if you properly use good grammar. Will there be a chance to ask a question? Yes.
And we have a winner.
All right, who do we have?
New Horizon 43.
New Horizons 43. Congratulations. You win Lisa TerKeurst Bible Study if you email me. So send the email discipledojo@gmail.com. That's It's on the screen now. For all of our giveaways, that's what we're going to do.
Remember, when you email what you won and your physical mailing address. Email is on the screen.
Yes, I need a name. I need where to send it. And you have to tell me what you won, because we have a stack of this and I will not remember. And it's on the honor system. So don't just write and say you won something random. I may not catch it, but he will. Okay, let's do a question. Let's do a couple of questions. We always do this. So for those of you who have never done open mat Q&A, oh, that's a good one. Rashard just asked a good question. For those of you that never done open mat Q&A, what we do open mat in jiu-jitsu is when you come to the academy, a bunch of people come up and just train. There's no structured lesson. The teacher's not teaching anything. You just get to train and work out and drill what you want to drill. And it's very free flowing. So that's what open mat, these live streams that Gregory and I do, they're very free flowing. You're welcome to put questions in the chat. Gregory will help me keep an eye on ones that are interesting that pop up that we may want to address. Sometimes we get to a lot of the questions. Sometimes we aren't able to get to. It just depends on how many of you are on the chat right now. And we've also got a ton of Bibles to give away and a few other things as well. So we're going to do those, but let's do a question or two. Richard asks, and he asked both of us. So Gregory, you'll have to answer as well. What's y'all's opinion of the Legacy Standard Bible? None MacArthur editions. I don't know what you mean by none MacArthur editions. Because John MacArthur, I think, isn't he the main guy that made the Legacy Standard Bible a thing? Like, he was not happy with the changes of the NASB 2020, and so it was like, we're going to make our. I feel that may not be accurate. I'm not in that stream of Christianity of the John MacArthur.
And we're back.
Oh,
you were saying you're not in that stream of Christianity, JM, the John MacArthur.
Yeah, it's not my tribe. It's not I don't follow the New American Standard update debates, any of that stuff. I don't use the New American Standard very often, if at all. So somebody gave me a copy of the Legacy Standard Bible, a nice copy, one of those, I think they're called premium Bibles. And I have it, and I've looked at it for one of the Psalms, and that's it, just because, yeah. So I don't know enough. I do know it's supposed to be an updated New American Standard, not the 2020 update. So
Correct.
It's not, the ones that didn't like the 2020 update of New American Standard, they thought it was maybe too liberal or something. I don't know. Usually that's my guess. A lot of people in those circles think everything's too liberal. And so that's my guess, is that's what it is. I don't know enough to have a really strong opinion on it. My gut feeling after using it for like a minute is it just doesn't seem very necessary to me at all. But I don't know. Gregory, do you know any more? Have you had a chance to look at it?
I hope no one beat me up for this. Don't come at me in the chat, as
Come
they
at
say. I will absolutely read every email and sit home crying while drinking a cup of tea at your mean comments. I think I have no problem with John MacArthur. I definitely have no problem with another translation. Fundamentally, what they're trying to do has a nice ring to it, but I believe technically translation doesn't work that way. So I'm reading from their site. The Legacy Standard Bible is a translation that at core seeks to be a window into the original Hebrew, Aramaic, and Greek. And this is the part that I struggle with. By translating individual words as consistently as possible within their various nuances, it allows the reader to discern the author's intent. Translation does not work that way. If 100 years from 1,000 years from now, someone translates a transcript of our thing that we're doing here, and they see that it was a live stream on something called Disciple Dojo, they're going to come to the conclusion, by translating Dojo in its absolute correct meaning, this had to be something to do with martial arts, because they lack the context of everything else that you know about JM that he likes martial arts and he has a background in it. He has several belts, but he also likes discipleship. So, in homage to his background and discipline, he does this as an open mat. He just explained what the open mat is. It's got nothing to do with karate here or, martial arts here today, but it's the principle that we take along. So just by translating the actual correct, accurate meaning of the word does not give you the author's intent. So I think the premise that you could do something in translating to pack the words with meaning so much that you cannot misinterpret the author, it doesn't work that way. We absolutely have to look at the outside context of it. On that note, we just got a guest.
Oh, all right. Well, while the guest is being ushered in, I'll echo what Gregory just said in terms of there are formal equivalent translations. Those are translations that try to stay as close to they can to the word meanings, and then they're thought for thought. Neither is wrong, and sometimes both can mislead. So that's just something to be aware of in general for translations that claim literalness. Yeah. So we have more on that in our Bible for the Rest of Us course. If you haven't done that course, absolutely free online, discipledojo.org/Bible, entirely free course. We talk all about translations. Gregory, who do we have joining the stream?
Kelly just joined. Let me usher Kelly in if I can find where to click. There we go. Boom.
Kelly, what is up?
Now, Kelly, there. Can you see all?
How are you guys?
How are you, Kelly?
Kelly, Gregory, Kelly. So
Nice
Kelly runs, I'm going to let her tell us in just a second. We had her on earlier this year. She runs a ministry that's incredible called the Graceful Warrior Project. And it's awesome. And Kelly's awesome. And she was a fun guest. And I invited her. I'm so happy that she got to come. Kelly, tell Gregory or tell the viewers on the stream, just give them a teaser of what you do for those that didn't see our episode.
And thank you for having me again. I run a nonprofit called the Graceful Warrior Project, and we have 2 safe houses, one in Eastern Congo and one in Tanzania. And we have built a medical center, and we are in the midst of building a school, an elementary school, and we create fully self-sustaining locations, whether that is a safe house, a school, or a medical center, and we empower the local people to run it and to be self-sufficient, and we empower them in Christ. We work in Muslim villages or Christian villages, and I get to teach them self-defense. So I teach the leaders, and the leaders then teach all the girls, and then the girls teach everyone at their school or in their village. So it's a really cool trickling out process.
It's actual self-defense, like martial arts. That is awesome.
Yes. Yeah. She's a warrior woman, and we love it. If you're not following her on Instagram, go follow. It's the Graceful Warrior Project, right? Yeah. So go follow, all one word, the Graceful Warrior Project, because she posts videos and reels. She'll post the most adorable things of their kids over there. And then she'll post awesome pictures of like the teachers or the volunteers training, like kicking pads or learning bodily awareness or assertiveness. It is really good. It's not just like, they're not just doing little Taekwondo exercises and calling it self-defense. Like they're teaching them real critical skills. I love it. I love it. I love it. So Kelly, what are you up to? What's this holiday season? What's happening with you?
Well, there's a lot of actually stuff going on in Tanzania. That's usually the calm country that I get to work in, but not right now. There's some protests going on, and can't really say a whole lot because of the implications it might have on our safe house. But basically, it's just been really dangerous and troubling. I'm trying to get out to Africa in January, but it's been very playing it by ear to figure out if it's even possible. So just been waiting on that, and otherwise been training. I have been training with my my shooting coach, jujitsu, and I'm gonna have someone install some like hanging wood in the backyard so that I can practice axe throwing or hatchet throwing. But so just some casual stuff.
Yeah. all around every form of combat. You're like the female version of Batman. You're just in your lair training, like equipping, becoming the ultimate ninja. I saw the video of you and your training partner footlocking each other, and you resorting to tickling to get that was, as a footlock guy, I very much appreciated that.
Yes. It's taken me, well, especially when you know someone's just so much bigger and so much better. And he's a black belt and he's very strong and he's just really, and we just laugh all the time together. So tickling him was a last, well, actually, no, it's a first resort.
It's the first.
But
Go right to it.
sometimes I'll like pull fingers, pull toes, and they're like, "That's not legal." I'm like, "It's legal in the streets."
That's right. That's right. We're not training dancing here.
No. Totally.
Well, if anybody in the chat has a question, if you'd like to ask Kelly about what she does, I invited her on because, again, in Disciple Dojo circles, like when I have on biblical scholars, like authors who have really popular books that they've put out that have been in Christian circles, I don't really have to publicize those as much. But when I have like people that are doing practical ministry, it doesn't have as big of a platform in Bible nerd circles. I want to make sure to cross pollinate, because there's the jujitsu circles, and I feel like you're doing well at getting your ministry out there. And the comments and the likes and the things that I see, I feel like you're finding your people, and I want Disciple Dojo Bible nerds to be part of those people and to cross pollinate. So if you guys have any questions for Kelly, drop them in the chat. And while you're doing that, and otherwise, I'm just going to nerd out with her for a minute about jujitsu. Kelly, we talked about your 10th planet, right?
Yes.
Is that where you train? Yeah. So 10th planet. And you are a purple belt?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. How long have you been? When did you get your purple belt?
I got purple maybe 2 years ago, maybe 3. I can't remember. Yeah.
So a seasoned purple belt. Yeah. So for those of you guys that don't know jujitsu, I always say,
oh, sorry, I lost you for a second.
No, it's my computer's been kicking me off, and Gregory's juggling and dealing with it.
Oh no.
It's the headache for him. You're muted, Gregory. I can't hear you.
Yeah, it's not you at all, Kelly. It's 100% JM.
Yes, it's my computer.
Drop the sentence, and we do have a question for Kelly when you're done.
Yes. Okay. So I was going to say, guys, if you don't know martial arts, purple belt in jiu-jitsu is roughly equivalent to a black belt in judo or karate or a number of other martial arts in terms of time it takes. So if you ever see a purple belt, it's not like Dwight on The Office when he was beating up kids and got a purple belt. Like a jiu-jitsu purple belt you can start instructing at purple belt. I started under an instructor who was a purple belt. So purple is legit. Okay, what was the question? We'll let Kelly do a question. I know you have to get out of here, Kelly, soon, so you can stay as long or as short as you want.
Thanks.
But what was the question, Gregory? Oh, on the screen. Do you take equipment and uniform donations? I'm assuming for Graceful Warrior Project. Tell them if you don't take those, tell them what you are in most need of.
So that's a really good question. I steer away a bit from taking lots of donations of things just because we get taxed heavily when we import them. And then also there is we want to pour into their economy as much as possible. So actually we also work with, we have a men's team in Tanzania, and they do evangelism through, I think they do some evangelism, but then also they also speak to men in other villages about how to be protectors and all that really cool stuff. And so they learn self-defense, but they also have a soccer team. So we used to bring soccer balls, but then one day we were driving around and we found this man who stitches soccer balls with leather by hand, and I was just like, oh my gosh, that's amazing. So when we build our self-defense room in our school, our elementary school, and hopefully soon will be high school as well, it's going to have a self-defense room, and I'm hoping that he will say yes to creating the mats, and I imagine he will stitch all of them by hand, and the punching bags and all the different things that we're going to need. So when it comes to equipment, I really would love to empower the people there and put money into their economy and give jobs and things like that. So I don't really take equipment, but if you wanted to donate and allocate that specifically towards something, we would love it. Yeah. And also, if you have something, I don't ever want to say no to someone. So if you email me, it can be found on the website, and say, like, I have something really specific. Do you want it? Because maybe it's something that actually would, I don't know, would blow my mind, and I'd be like, yes, absolutely. So I'd never want to turn someone down, but.
Right. It's when you do nonprofit stuff, because we run into this with refugee jiu-jitsu. Sometimes people will be like, "Oh, I have these karate uniforms," and I always have to thank them for wanting to donate. But I'm like, but if it's not a jiu-jitsu weave gi, it's a whole different thing. And people that
Totally.
don't know, they just don't know. But
Yeah.
I love what you're saying about empowering the local economy. Like, you're not coming in and just, like, I mean, one, it's easier for you to travel if you don't have a bunch of equipment to take with you.
Right.
And also, though, feeding into the local people, that's such a great way to do non-toxic charity.
Yeah.
Hand up, not hand out type stuff, building the community.
Totally.
I
Totally.
love it. Well, can
Hey.
you take another question?
Yes.
There's
Yeah.
another one that, Adrian Belgrave, a regular viewer, she asked, "Why is it that Christianity isn't as prevalent in Tanzania like how I thought it was?" I don't know the situation of Christianity in Tanzania. Could you give a thumbnail sketch of it maybe, or your
Yeah.
experience, how it compares to maybe some of the surrounding countries like Uganda or, somewhere, or Rwanda or some of those?
Yeah, and I'm just gonna give an experiential response because I don't know anything about like statistics or really the history. But so I think that there is a lot of Christianity in Tanzania, but there's a lot of Muslims. And
Mhm,
so our safe house is in a Muslim community, and we've worked a long time to get the respect and the the just welcome and with open arms. So in the village that we work in, and we've come so far. I don't know why the history of it. I'm not really sure. That's as far as I can say. Is that I know that there's a lot of Christianity in Tanzania. I don't know how it measures up percentage wise with the Muslim faith, but everyone's so great. At least I can speak to the people in our village and how welcoming they've been, and the rapport and the trust that we've earned with them. And so we work alongside them, and we're just hoping all along the way, like whenever I like during all the protests that have been happening right now, people have been killed in our village. And so we send money over from our donors, and our leaders at the safe house, are helping with some of the funeral costs, or we got to pay for over 100 people in our village to have food for this whole month while inflation is so high because of the
mhm,
protests.
mhm.
And so, and I'm always telling our leader, like, and who do we say this comes from? And she's like, Jesus. And so
Right.
just helping them to know that, like, God's watching them and is caring for them um before they ever know him or want to know him. And so it's his love and it's his kindness that draws us in, and so we just want to be really good examples of that.
Yeah. Oh, I think you are. To clarify, Adrian is a he, not a she. I said she, but I'm thinking of another Adrian.
Oh, no
So
worries.
he said so in the chat. I'm a he, but it's all good.
Oh,
Um,
thanks,
but
Adrian.
yeah, that was a good question, Adrian. And there was one more I saw. I keep dropping in and out, but Gregory's keeping the stream going. I did see somebody that asked, and maybe you can, if you want to end with this, what's something that you've seen happen in your work over there? whether in Tanzania or the other location. You don't have to give specifics, but just something that has been like one of those wow moments or one of those meaningful things that just like really crystallized why you do what you do. Have there been any of those?
Oh, I mean,
I know there
yes.
have been, but have there
Yeah. Do
are
you,
there any
like,
that jump out that that you could share with Dojo viewers?
pertaining maybe to jujitsu or like self-defense, or pertaining to like Christianity, or
Anything that either both. Like, is
yeah.
there something that's an incident or something that's
Yeah. I
had an
mean,
impact on you?
even when I was first teaching, when I lived in Congo, teaching self-defense, and the women would come back and just say, like, because it's the rape capital of the world, for those who
Mhm.
don't know, and it's a third world country, and it's a war zone. And right now it's like very, very high stakes. The rebel armies have taken over the city. And so there, I mean, imagine being a woman and you're in a culture where you don't even feel like it's appropriate to make eye contact with a man. You're always looking at the ground.
Mhm.
So I I remember just teaching and just feeling so inadequate, and like there must be someone so much better than me. And I just remember women coming back and saying, like, I just feel like walking around smiling, and I feel like I have tools, and I feel so confident. And also in my head I'm thinking, like, am I giving you false confidence? But um because I don't, yeah, it can be such a confusing thing. But at the end of the day, I think um I I want someone, I always want to give someone as many tools as possible. Um so that, like, even how I was talking to you before, how I'm practicing like hatchet throwing, and like with ARs, and doing jujitsu and boxing. I have a punching bag in my room, and I do 100 teeps a day.
Mhm.
And so it's not that I think like I'm invincible. It's just that I think that women particularly are pretty vulnerable. And so just, what does someone say in my class? I says, like, always just becoming a little bit harder to kill. And so just giving someone tools to say, like, you use it however you want. And and I just want people to feel empowered. So watching people, and then also you're helping heal someone in that sense. And then when the men's team, just hearing how they go out to, well, yeah, hearing how they go out to other villages and help teach other men how to be really great leaders and to protect the women and children. And they take so much pride in it that they made soccer jerseys that say that. And
Mhm.
so it's just like, sometimes you stand back and you just look and you're thinking, oh my gosh, like, yes, like, you're just feeding a flame that exists in everybody, but you're
Yeah.
helping it, you know. And so I just I'm so thankful. And the fact that we're building a school is just beyond me. Like, I didn't graduate college, so I'm hoping to travel to Thailand and Bali and a few other places where they have some really great schools, and I'm hoping in January. And so that I could just, you know, God has called me to do things that I feel extremely unqualified for. And so but I've watched God use me over and over again. And so I'm so thankful for that. And I know that it's all Him. And I just have to keep saying yes and allowing Him to use me and grow me. So, like, I don't know about schools. So I'm going to go
Mhm.
learn about schools, you know, and just keep showing up and doing the best that I can, in a humble way, and just being as transparent as possible. So, yeah.
Yeah. I love it. I love the idea of you're not just teaching women and girls how to defend themselves. You're also teaching men how to be defenders and protectors alongside them. It's truly a vision of what humanity was created for. You know, women, the man and the woman. The woman was an ezer kenegdo, an ally suitable for him. And that was the vision. And of course, in the fall, you know, that gets distorted and down through the ages, we've had people that the rift between men and women and gender-based violence. I mean, we have an idiot in the comments making stupid posts in random Bible verses about women. Just there's such a toxic mentality that so many men have inherited. And even in church circles, sadly, it gets perpetuated. So seeing ministry, people in ministry doing things like what you're doing is just absolutely crucial. So I want Disciple Dojo viewers, guys, I want you to support Graceful Warrior Project. The Graceful Warrior Project. Go follow her on Instagram. You'll be blown away by what they're doing. Tell all of your friends, especially your jujitsu friends, let them know about it. They have, I don't know if you still have in stock, but I know you've had rash guards for sale and some other stuff
Yeah,
that you've done periodically.
I just got a whole new batch, and I'll send you some if you
Oh,
just
sweet.
if you DM me your size and all that. I'll send you a couple. So.
Oh, absolutely. I wear them gladly.
Thank you.
Someone in the audience is asking, and I left your Instagram link up there. You guys, please go and follow her. I just started following, so you've gained at least one follower.
Thank you.
Someone asked, and I thought it was a really amazing question. Is there anything specific we can pray for the Graceful Warrior Project?
Yeah, that's a really great question. In fact, tonight a church is that I'm going to. They're praying about DRC, and I was invited to go, and so DRC, Eastern Congo, is where we are. Our leader is wondering if we should create a second location. And I never want to say yes or no to any, I'm like, okay, God, what do you want to do? Because rebel armies can move. And they moved into Goma earlier this year, and we moved almost 40 mostly kids out, and then they wanted to go back because just they're so used to war. So but now they're exhausted, and so should we create a second location? And it's really hard when you have the power to say yes or no. You feel like this is too much responsibility to have over that many lives. And so when I don't know if it would be the right thing to do, because creating a second location sounds like a great idea, but I also really want to be extremely wise with people's money. This is this is people's hard-earned money that they chose to give to us in good faith, and we don't spend it willy-nilly, so and not that spending it on moving them would be willy-nilly. It's just that I don't like, we thought we were building a safe house in a really great location. And it costs a lot of money to do that, the land, and then building it from the ground up. And now here we are a few years later, after we thought that was the safest location, thinking of moving them. And so it's like, will it just be repeating itself? So I'm really praying for wisdom for that and what the Lord would have us do. And I know that if he wants us to move, that he would give us the money and the location and all that stuff. But yeah, it's a lot of pressure, and I want the Lord to be guiding the entire thing. I want it to be so black and white. So thank you.
Yeah, well, Dojo viewers, be following Kelly. Pray for Kelly. Pray for the ministry, her workers, the volunteers. They're doing awesome stuff. So, yes. Kelly, thank you so much for stopping by. It was great to see you again.
Yeah, I always appreciate you just trying to get the word of what we're doing out there and encouraging me and us, and just the validation. It means a lot. So I'm just so thankful for you guys.
Well, we're on Team Graceful Warrior Project all the way. So you keep it up, and we'll stay in touch.
You guys. Sounds good. Bye.
Bye. All right.
Good stuff.
Awesome. I'm so glad, guys. Check the episode with Kelly. It's called "She Teaches Jiu-Jitsu in a War Zone," or something like that. And it was such a good discussion we had. You can hear all about Graceful Warrior Project. All right, let's do another giveaway. What you say, Gregory?
100%. Let's make it pop.
You got the wheel? Can we spin the wheel?
I do have the wheel. We can spin the wheel.
Let's do a couple of. Let me do this. So I reviewed recently. I've reviewed a series of Bibles for people that have dyslexia or visual input issues, audio, visual, sensory, something like that. And so I've actually got 5 of these. There we go. Sorry. So I've reviewed all of these on the channel, and for some reason, again, Zondervan accidentally sent 2 instead of 1, but the Clear Focus Bible was one that I've reviewed that uses what they call Bionic font. I think that might be a little more marketing than legit, but I think that's the one that I'm thinking of. One of them. Anyway, it is, so you can see. So basically, they weight the letters differently. Like the main letters you need to understand a word are in bold print, and then the other letters are not. I don't have dyslexia. I don't have the sensory input issues, but apparently this, and then they break up, like all of them. They break it up into small, short paragraphs, short sections. So for some people, I don't know, this may be super helpful. But they sent me a couple of these. They sent me one for kids in the NIRV, the New International Readers version. Same thing. It's just in the NIRV translation. So I have 3 of these to give away, and this one's got a cool cover. It's like real tactile, and I think it's called Duotone. It's whatever that soft kind of rubbery feel. And then the CSB, the folks, our friends at Holman, they have theirs uses a different font where the letters are all slightly different, letters that easily get flipped, like a D and a lowercase p. For some people with dyslexia, their brain flips letters or mirrors letters, and so the font that they use subtly distinguishes those letters so they don't get flipped as easily. And Holman's also comes with these color overlays that help people with visual stimulus issues. So we did in the interview, there's these they're colored sheets, different colors, and you find one that works for you because everybody's different, but it's to lay over so you can read easier without the visual stress. So I've reviewed all of these on the channel already. And like I said, I do not have dyslexia, so it doesn't make any sense for these Bibles to stay here with me. It'd be better for them to go to people that actually could benefit from them. So what I'm going to ask you to do is, if you enter, we're going to spin the wheel and we're going to pick 5 winners. We can do that, right, Gregory?
Yes, we can.
Yeah. So we can pick 5 winners. The other one was the ESV. And again, it's the same thing. It has the color overlays. And it has, I think the ESV uses the same font as the one from Holman. So the Holman one and the Crossway one are very, very similar. The Zondervan ones are the other font, the Bionic Reading font. Yeah, that's what they call it, Bionic Reading Method. So we'll give away 5 of these. Let's say for you to enter, what I ask you is, don't enter unless you know someone or you are someone with dyslexia. So that way these get to view. I got a lot of other Bibles that we'll give away. I just want to make sure that these go to viewers or readers who actually have dyslexia or know someone that does. All right. So let's do, we're going to have, what did we do last time? 60 seconds? That was enough time, wasn't it, to get names?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So for the next 60 seconds, put in the chat.
Please do not make them spell dyslexia.
I was gonna make it even be like, spell dyslexia. No, I struggle to spell dyslexia. Put in the chat. Let's do. Oh, I'm blanking on it. Let's do Clear, since this is the Clear Focus Bible. Oops. So put, for the next 60 seconds, this is open to everybody. Please just enter one time. Put the word clear in the chat, CLEAR, and starting now. And Gregory is going to grab all of those who put clear, and he's going to enter the names into a big wheel that we're going to spin. And then we're going to pick out 5 winners. So while we're doing that, I see some of them coming in.
Yep.
There are a couple of others that we'll give away after we do some more Q&A. I'm also going to be giving away, I would love to give away, when I went to SBL this year, you know, at SBL, they always give you swag. Zondervan Academic actually gave a really good, like, messenger bag tote thing with a pen holder, phone holder, little, like, drink holder pocket. Like, it's a really nice bag.
Quality bags. Like,
yeah.
I keep them for years. Like, they're not throwaway bags at all.
Yeah,
Canvas, like good.
I had two, and so I'm keeping one. But at the Zondervan Authors Lunch, they also gave all the authors, and I got invited to it, even though I'm not a Zondervan author. But they gave a really nice journal with a pen. So I'm going to put this together. We're going to do this as a giveaway for someone that can win the bag and the journal. And then someone also donated for this live stream Bible covers. So this one is gender neutral. I mean, they all can be gender neutral, but this one, like this kind of manly looking. This one has a purse strap, so it is. Although, like, men, they're called a merce. So yeah, if you want to rock this, you can. If you're a guy, but 2 Bible covers.
If you're a guy that's into merces,
yeah. I mean, I know my friend Tom DeBlas. He's a world-class black belt jiu-jitsu instructor, can beat up almost anybody I know, and he carries around.
He wears a merce.
So
I think you need to be
it helps if you're a world-class black belt.
Right, exactly. You need to be able to defend yourself if you're going to walk around with a merce. That's all.
So we'll do these and the Zondervan bag, and then in the next giveaway bundle, and then one more that we'll do is our friends at Cross Bible, which I've reviewed. Stephen over at Cross Bible gave us they have a really, really cool poster that has all of the manuscripts of the Bible in existence on a timeline according to the century. Hebrew, New Testament. It's too big to even unfold now, but this is on the Cross Bible website for the $5 premium feature users. They can have access to this, $5 a month users. But he gave me one of these to give away to Dojo viewers. And so I told him I'd absolutely do that. So that'll be in the next giveaway. Gregory, we're over 60 seconds, I know. So do we have the folks that put clear?
Yep, I'm pulling up the names right now and putting them in the wheel.
All right. Okay, so we'll do them in let's just do them in this order here. So the first one we'll do is the ESV, and then we'll do the CSB, and then we'll do the NIV, and then the last one we'll do is the NIRV. And NIRV is a really good, not just for kids, by the way, but NIRV is.
Jay will be right back. I just got one extra name. There he is. You can stop entering the Claire thing now. Are you back, JM?
I think I'm back. Am I back?
Yeah, you are.
Yep. Okay. Yeah, I was gonna say, and the NIRV is a good translation for readers, that people that struggle with reading, just in general. All right, do we have them all?
Yep. I'm going to share the screen so everyone can see it.
All right.
Hold on here.
While Gregory's pulling that up, remember, if you win something, what do you have to do? You have to email me and tell me what you won so we can get it to you. When you email your name, shipping address, and say what you actually won. So the first one we're going to do, spin the wheel, Gregory, for the ESV Dyslexia Friendly Edition from our friends at Crossway. All right, Jimmy Cantrell Reviews. Jimmy, email me, and this is on its way to you. Okay, next one. The CSB from our friends at Holman with the clear overlays.
Ooh, that was close.
Oh, that was. Ischo, you are the winner if you email me. for the CSB. Okay, let's do the 2. Just do 2 back to back, if you don't mind, Gregory, for the clear focus. All right. One of them is going to New Horizons 43. And let's do the next one. All right. S. Bosch 12. These are on their way to you. Email discipledojo@gmail.com. Do it right now so you don't forget. Okay, last one. The NIRV, Clear Focus, the Bible for Kids. Who is going to win? All right, Popple Backyard Farm. This one is headed to you. Got to send me the email.
Remember when you're emailing, guys, let me stop sharing screen now. We're done with the wheel for the time being, right?
Yes.
Gotcha. So let me first figure out how to turn that off. Boom. Okay, wheel is gone.
All right.
And let me put you back up here. There we go. Remember, guys, email. The email is on the screen. Email your name and address, what you won,
yes,
to discipledojo@gmail.com. We're not going anywhere. Keep the stream running in the background. Go and send that email right this second before you forget.
It would be great for me to be able to ship all of it out at once.
Exactly.
Because I can print the shipping here, but I have to take it to UPS or the yeah. So also we should have said this before. We say this every time. It's got to be a domestic shipping address. If you are an international viewer, I'm happy to get it to you. You just have to have somewhere in the US that we can send it to you. Otherwise, it's prohibitively expensive to ship overseas. And I wish it weren't. And I wish Disciple Dojo had the funding to ship all over the world. But a $20 Bible can cost like $75 to ship overseas, even if it's just to Canada or something. So we can't do international shipping. So if you do win and you have someone in the States who I can ship it to, we've done that before. Had somebody in the Philippines, worked on a cruise ship, said, "Oh, my sister lives in, Denver or something. Can you send it there?" I was like, "Absolutely." So I'm happy to do that, but we just cannot pay for international shipping, and it's not worth it for you to pay for international shipping.
Want to take some questions?
Let's do some questions.
You got a doozy of a question. I think this is right up your alley.
Oh, pressure.
Yes, lots of pressure.
All right. The only guilty man in Shawshank. Oh, Red. I love you, buddy. Okay. Why do study Bibles talk about who wrote the first books of the Bible as if Jesus doesn't say it was Moses? That's a good question. And it's a little more complex than just Jesus saying it was Moses. Because by the time of Jesus, well, there's a couple questions in there, but one, by the time of Jesus, the first 5 books collectively were known as the books of Moses. So you could just say shorthand, like we would say.
Yeah, I have thoughts on this. Until JM gets back, I'm not going to answer this. So stand by. Here's JM. He's back right now. You were saying, JM, we could say, I was saying, I have thoughts on this. Ain't no way I'm answering this question without you here. But go ahead. You were saying,
so I would say we could say if we quoted a work like an author, and like Shakespeare said or Tolkien said or something, and we could quote from their books, we'd be saying they wrote it, right? They wrote what they're writing. But if I cited someone who had quoted someone else, or had used something else, had compiled. I think of like C.S. Lewis would quote Dante a lot. Like C.S. Lewis quotes from Dante in some of his books. So if I say, well, as Lewis said, and I allude to a passage in, say, Paralandra that alludes to a passage or quotes a passage from Dante, from the Paradiso, I'm not saying that C.S. Lewis wrote that line that he's quoting from Paradiso. I'm saying he wrote the passage that incorporate the line. So it's a little more complex. And so when you come to the books of the Bible, Moses, traditional authorship holds that he wrote it, But even the most traditional authorship would say, but some of the parts he did not write. For instance, the account of his own death, or when it says, and Moses was the most humble man on the face of the earth. It's hard to make a case that the most humble man on the face of the earth would write that they're the most humble man on the face of the earth. Or in Genesis, where you'll see a passage which will say, and this is the place as it's been called to this day, or as it's known to this day, and implying it's a setting after the time it was written and even after the time of Moses. So those type of issues make it a little more nuanced than just, oh, well, Moses just went up on the mountain and then he wrote all of Genesis. Rather, it's more likely, or some people would argue, and different study Bibles take different positions, it's more likely that Moses, if he was the one that compiled the books in their close to final form, he was using other sources. Like Moses wasn't the first person to hear about Yahweh. He wasn't the first person to know about Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Those stories would have been passed down. The stories probably would have been written a lot earlier in some form, in some type of, maybe Paleo-Hebrew or some other common language of the day. And even going all the way back, the stories of like the incident at Babel or the Table of Nations, or even further back, the further you go back in the stories in Genesis, the more resonance they have with the other tales, the other epics in the ancient Near East. And so there's a strong case to be made that Moses was compiling, that he was speaking, that maybe even he didn't write, but maybe Joshua or a scribe that he had was writing certain things down. And so the books came to collectively be known as the books of Moses. But
yeah, Jam will be back here in a second. You know how that runs by now. There's more thoughts on that. When Jam comes back, I'm gonna read a passage for you. You're back, Jam. Fire away.
Where did I drop out?
You were explaining that it's not as simple as everyone thinks.
Yeah, so what I just said is a very conservative view. It's not like a liberal view to say that Moses used sources, that he compiled. Almost all conservatives would acknowledge that, and a lot of moderates. Where it starts to get into more revisionist, more progressive, more secular, more academic, not academic, it's not the right word, more documentary type approaches are when it starts to say things like, well, Moses didn't write any of the books, and they were all like Deuteronomy was discovered in the 5th century or 6th century BC and presented as if Moses wrote it, but it's really the priestly authors that are writing there. So those are when you start like documentary approaches, and they all vary widely. There's not one monolithic approach. It doesn't matter how confidently a scholar will tell you, it's just not true. There are many different approaches to it. And then within like general, broad, moderate, evangelical, even conservative, you can have multiple authorship, but still being under the aegis of Moses as the compiler, as the author.
You said Moses as the compiler and author.
Yeah, the live stream clearly does not like this discussion because it keeps booting me off. So it's just proof that.
Let me give one minor example, if I may, JM.
Yeah, go ahead.
Better screen, like here. That's a better one. And let me do that as well. I'm reading here from Genesis 14:14, the story where Abraham, where Lot got captured by some king and Abraham had to go and save him. And Genesis 14:14, I'm reading from the ESV. When Abraham heard that his kinsman Lot had been taken captive, he went forth with his trained men born in his house, 318 of them, and went in pursuit as far as Dan. The Amplified version says, when Abraham heard that his nephew Lot had been captured, he armed and led out his trained men born in his own house, numbering 318, and went in pursuit as far north as Dan. The problem with that is, obviously, this is a narrative explaining Abraham. Dan is what? Abraham's great-great-great-grandson? Like Dan
way after. Dan's one of Israel.
Dan wasn't a thing yet.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
the fact that Dan was a city far north in Israel, in the promised land, if I remember correct, that didn't happen until Joshua or maybe
After.
Judges, or
Yeah,
like it was super, super late. So it's the text itself witnesses that the narratives have been, at the bare minimum, edited massively long after the fact to make it clear, et cetera, et cetera. It would be like us today writing a story and saying, and we call this place Louisiana. But you know, back in Indian times, it wasn't called Louisiana. It was called, you know, Apokalaka or whatever have you. But you wouldn't refer to it as Apokalaka because no one knows that anymore. Everyone knows it as Louisiana. So for the sake of clarity, initially the story was written that there was a war in Apokalaka or Broken Arrow or whatever have you. And for clarity's sake, which is now called Louisiana. So that happens, especially in the Torah, the first 5 books. That happens an amazing amount of time because there's, in my opinion, again, don't come at me in the quotes in the chat one more time. In my opinion, again, it's fairly clear to me that big parts of the 5 books, the Torah, were edited fairly heavily under Babylonian, probably the exile. So that is way further on down in history. I just see a lot of the influence of Babylonian texts, Babylonian epics. You just see a lot of that there. It's fairly obvious that I think they were, you know, using the Bible as a polemic against those Babylonian texts when they were in exile. So it's not as simple as, you know, hey, Moses just grabbed the pen and wrote everything down, and he was walking through the desert 40 years and he was writing and scribbling as he went. It's just very clearly not that simple.
Yeah, there's room for ambiguity. There's room for nuance when it comes to authorship. And what you don't want to do is, what I say not to do, is what a lot of knee-jerk conservative readers do, which is they take the most conservative way to read something and they say, well, this is the normal way, so any deviation from that must be liberal, it must be suspect, it must be shady. And that's not always the case. I mean, Gregory, the example of Dan is a great example. And I forgot which commentator I heard, but another example that they used, similar to your Louisiana one, was they say, when we today write about the Revolutionary War, we'll write about things happening in New York, but it was called New Amsterdam when it was founded. But nobody today would even know where New Amsterdam is. So we say, well, New York. So there are fingerprints of later editorial work. Now, the question is, 2 questions: how much of it is edited? And like you mentioned, Babylon, that's a great example, because Babylon, the empire, the Neo-Babylonian Empire, is not the same as the old Babylonian Empire. And the Neo-Assyrian Empire is not the same as the Middle Assyrian Empire. And all of those empires would hearken back in their literature to the ancient writings to try to show continuity with them. And so even if something references Babylon, in the Babylonian pantheon, is it representing the Babylonian pantheon of the 600s BC, 500s BC?
There's hundreds, if not more than 1,000 years difference between the Neo-Babylonian and the other Babylonian. Like, it's vastly different. They're not like, you know, neighbors at all.
Long time. And those are the questions that I feel like we
that was a great question. I think we're going to have a couple. There's some other really, really, really good questions here in the chat. There's some other really, really good questions in the chat, JM.
All right.
You want to grab another question?
Yeah. What I was going to say before it booted me, just to kind of wrap everything up, is, and this is an important point, so internet, please don't kick me off again, is when somebody starts to ask questions about Mosaic authorship, I always want to know what's behind the question. If it's, I'm curious about things like the mention of Dan back in Genesis, you know, clearly anachronistic things. What does that mean? That's different than saying Moses didn't write any of it. It was all concocted by the priestly and the Yahwists and the Elohists and the Deuteronomists. And we can redo Israel's history by piecing those sources together to come up. That to me, then you've just gone in you've left the text and entered into the world of speculation. But if you're just saying, hey, this is kind of anachronistic, isn't it? What does that mean for Mosaic authorship? Or, hey, how can Moses write about his own death? Did God give him that as a prophecy, or is this a later editor? Those are just two very different attitudes, and they lead to different questions.
Awesome answer, JM.
Okay, what were some other ones?
Got a really tough question here. It's on screen right now for you.
Oh, no. Is y'all grammatically correct? No, there's no apostrophe. It should be a Y apostrophe. This is what's called a contraction. Just like we say the word isn't. Is not. Well, y'all is you all. So you take out the O and the U, you put an apostrophe. It's not Y-A apostrophe L-L. That is incorrect. It is Y apostrophe A-L-L. Y'all. Glad we can clear that up.
For those who follow, I know she's a frequent guest of your channel, Carmen Imes. Carmen actually uses y'all sometimes when she's talking about certain things in Exodus and the Old Testament, et cetera, because there are times when that y'all, you, all, and all of us, that resonates better what the text was trying to say, and there isn't a great English word for it. So the spelling needs to be right, but yeah, y'all is absolutely a thing.
Yeah,
you want
second person plural. Our friend Michael Halcomb, New Testament scholar, also endorses use of y'all for most of the yous in the New Testament are actually y'alls. Exactly. Most of them.
You want a New Testament or an Old Testament question? We got both, and both.
I mean, I'm always more comfortable with Old Testament questions, but I don't mind trying either. Dealer's choice.
There's an Old Testament, and
all right.
After
question
that,
William, why is it that some people deny the existence of Moses, mainly responses, and the miracle of splitting the Red Sea? So there's two reasons. One is because, well, one reason why people deny is because they don't want it to be true, because that has theological implications. Because then it becomes, oh, there actually is a God who is involved in history, and we have to answer to him. The more sophisticated reason that people give, and I don't think it's completely dishonest, is they struggle with the idea of the miraculous. They might agree that Moses existed, but they're like, no, the miracles don't happen. Like history can't talk about miracles. It has to just give the facts. So the minute something puts a theological slant or requires belief in the miraculous, which the Exodus absolutely does, then they start to say, okay, well, that's like ancient myths and legends. And of course, it begs the question, because only relatively recently in world history did history writing get separated from theological or even miraculous interpretation. I mean, all the ancient histories, like Greco-Roman histories and ancient Near East histories, all of those contain theologizing and accounts of the miraculous, even Josephus and Philo. So it's a postmodernistic lens through which we view scripture. And you have people like Thomas Jefferson to thank for it. They literally, TJ, cut out the miraculous in the New Testament and just said, no, it's the teachings of Jesus that matter, not the miracles. And so you get the Jefferson Bible. And people have been doing that ever since. But yeah, I just reviewed Kenneth Kitchen's book on the Old Testament, on the reliability of the Old Testament. That is one of the best works I've come across that grounds the Hebrew Bible and Moses within the history of the ancient world. And then it's just up to the reader to decide, okay, how much stock do I put in ancient history?
Yeah, anytime you talk about history, the stream goes bananas.
Yeah, right. I'm noticing it. It does not want, it wants documentary assumptions.
Exactly.
To
say
reign.
Something good about JEDP.
Yeah, right.
The internet will calm down. Let me, while you're composing your thoughts, if I may, I'm going to drop an article in we're talking about the whole Moses thing, and scholars and I like history. JM and I were talking about this book before the stream started. This is a Christian book. Well, it's written by a Christian, but it's very much historical. It's by a historian. Super cool. So I'm a fan of history. So when you ask historical questions, I have thoughts on it. There's this foundation called the Armstrong Institute of Biblical Archaeology. They are real archaeologists. Like, this is a scholarly academic archaeology area, and they have this article about, and I just dropped it in the chat. If I can find where I just dropped it, I want to put it on screen. There it is. So understand with kingdoms or world powers like Egypt specifically, and we see this with, I believe it's Assyria as well. Their history is often tailored to make them look the best. Like we have documented proof of that. We have, and I mean, take the Bible out of the equation. There is historical records that have been verified by professional archaeologists that are atheists that demonstrate Egypt will go to war, they'll lose, they'll go back and they'll write the history and said, we did great in this war, but they'll leave out parts. You know, we went to war and we came back home and it was amazing. But they don't say we went to war with 100,000 people. We came back home with 1,000 people. They leave out that part. So from their history books, it looks amazing, and you don't get the detail of something bad happened. The Syrians or the I can't remember who it was, but there was this group of people that laid siege to Jerusalem, and the Bible describes it as the angel of the Lord came down and slayed, I think it was 180,000 of them in the night.
Sennacherib.
Thank you, Sennacherib, exactly. And their history relays a part of that story, that they went to war and they came back, and didn't say 180,000 of them. They just said, you know, everyone got sick and we came back home. And shortly afterwards, you know, there was an assassination and the king died, and it is what it is. So the history of the country itself oftentimes is tailored for the country. So a character like Moses to the Egyptian history, you better believe they're probably going to leave out parts of that. Like a guy comes and takes their whole slave population and walks out the door with them, while killing, you know, through the army, through the hand of the Lord, killing the firstborn of all the men in Egypt. Like, yeah, that story is probably not going to be verbatim in their history. That does not mean that it didn't happen. So this article about this gentleman called Senenmut was a good example of, you know, someone that in Egyptian history, they literally found this guy that by the Egyptian historical records was not an Egyptian, ascended really, really high into Egyptian royal status. And then like he had a whole gravesite built for himself and the whole kit and caboodle. And then around 1430 BC, he stops being in the historical records. And they found his gravesite, and his gravesite is empty. So some archaeologists are surmising or proposing that might be Moses, because even the Egyptian records say it's kind of odd that this non-Egyptian got so high up into the Egyptian royalty and they speak of him so highly, and then suddenly he disappears and you don't even understand where he died, where he's been buried, or what happened. So like I said, there's nuance to, you know, who is this, where's Moses, and was Moses a figment of the imagination? There are some scholars that say it's completely made up. Most Christian scholars will tell you it's not completely made up. Yeah.
There's a wide range of views on a lot of issues involving archaeology. Archaeology is as much of an art as it is a science. And so I always tell people, hold things with loose hands. Gregory, check the chat. We have a special guest that's popped in.
Ooh.
That needs the link to the stream.
Oh, sorry.
But yeah, when it comes to archaeology, any questions about that? It's very important. Archaeology can contribute more lines of evidence, but it's very rare that archaeology can settle detailed questions. It can give levels of plausibility, but it always is to continue.
What a terrible time for it to drop out. I am about to send the link to a guest that wants to join. So we're going to have a guest here in like 2 or 3 seconds.
All
We're
right.
going to have a guest here in 2 or 3 seconds. I'm sending the link to a very, very special guest who, of course, probably if you're paying attention to the chat, you figured out who it is. So stand by.
And those of you that are jumping on to the stream, since we've gotten started, we are plagued by the technology demons that keep bumping me off. So Gregory's running the stream. If I stop talking and freeze up and disappear, that's what's happening. And we just work through it. So that's how it goes. We're also going to be giving away some more stuff. We've got the Bible covers that I just talked about, the poster. It's a really cool poster from Cross Bible, the Zondervan bag and the journal. And yeah, we got some good stuff coming up. So
there's another question. As soon as I click send on this email, just click send. Someone should check their email at Biola. Let's go here. There was another. Oh, perfect. There we go. Boom.
Hey, there's a familiar face.
Hey, everybody.
How are you, Dr. Imes?
I'm great. How are you guys?
Good. Carmen, we're so glad you could make it.
Yes.
It's what, 5:30 your time?
It is.
Right. So you're just finishing up a day of grading or writing or what?
I wrote today all day long. It was awesome.
Yeah. Are you done with classes for the semester?
We had our last classes yesterday. Okay. Well, I had my last ones yesterday. We have exams next week. So
gotcha.
I do have grading that I should be doing, but I was procrastinating and working on the tabernacle instead.
Listen, hey, speak of archaeology, what we were just talking about. Yeah, Carmen gave a very good presentation at SBL a couple of weeks ago in was it the Ancient Biblical Inscription? What was the name of that working group?
Ancient Near Eastern Iconography in the Bible session.
Yeah, so it was a whole working group of people who are just like inscription nerds. Like the one guy presented he traced and he used AI to compare the different styles of the depictions of the sun disk in different iconography in the ancient Near East and had these variants. It was way over my head on numerous levels, but it was really cool. And then Carmen presented, give a 30-second recap of what you presented at that session, because it was really interesting.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. I had an idea when I visited Egypt a year and a half ago, now almost 2 years ago. I had this thought as I was walking through Egyptian temples and seeing how much repetition was on the walls of temples. I just realized there's something going on a monument, some kind of visual effect of repetition that I see happening in the biblical text. So I had this crazy idea. What if the Bible's depiction of the tabernacle is functioning as a verbal monument? Mm-hmm. So instead of doing source criticism to figure out what are all the little pieces and parts that have been put together, what if instead we looked at the overall impact or effect of having so much repetition and having so much space devoted to the building of the tabernacle? So I wanted to explore how the tabernacle structure instructions were designed and see if it sort of absorbed the function of Egyptian monuments. And what I decided was that it's not just the tabernacle instructions, it's the entire book of Exodus. So the entire book of Exodus, it unfolds in three major stages that map onto the three stages of narrative logic in an Egyptian temple. So basically in the outside of a temple in Egypt and in the initial court, you see Pharaoh smiting his enemies with a strong hand and an outstretched arm. Mm-hmm. And then in the second zone, you see all kinds of ritual demonstrations on the walls. So offering incense to the gods, carrying shrines on poles, like boxes on poles the priests are carrying on their shoulders. Setting offering tables full of offerings to the gods. So lots of ritual imagery. And then in the third zone of a temple, you see lots of examples of Pharaoh face to face with the deity having intimate communion. Mm-hmm. So if you think about Exodus, the first section of the book is Yahweh smiting Pharaoh with his strong hand and outstretched arm. And you have all the signs and wonders where he's showing a mighty arm to Pharaoh. And then in the second zone, you have the preparation for building the tabernacle and preparation for entering the presence of God. And then in the very heart of the second half of the book, so you have the tabernacle instructions and their fulfillment, but in between those two sections is the account of the golden calf and then Moses interceding for the people. And especially chapters 33 and 34, Moses is face to face with Yahweh in intimate communion. So I was like, oh, look, the whole book kind of mimics the logic of an Egyptian temple.
It was a really cool presentation, and it was the really fun part was you're doing in a room of, you know, epigraphers. I don't know the term, the title, people that study ancient inscriptions, and it seemed to. What was the feedback? Did you seem to have?
So I was really surprised. I had braced myself all week for,
Right.
okay, this might not be a friendly environment for this particular paper because it has implications for historicity and for dating of Exodus and for authorship that I wasn't, like, my point was not to set out and say, oh, the book was written really early by Moses or something like that. But it actually has implications in that direction because it seems to reflect Egyptian sensibilities. So the people who would have thought of constructing it that way would have been people who were in Egypt. And I wasn't sure how well that would go over.
Right.
So, yeah.
I mean, no fruit was thrown in the session.
No, everybody seemed positive. The questions were positive. The moderator said to me afterwards, Carmen, did you hear the whole room gasp when you got to your point about how the book of Exodus is structured? I was like, oh, that's true. Maybe mostly the people who came to the paper were Carmen Imes groupies instead of the normal crowd. I don't know. I'm not sure, but it was a friendly response. My favorite part was that right before me was a guy giving a paper on methodology in comparing ancient Near Eastern iconography in the Bible. And I realized as he was presenting his very meticulous taxonomy of methodologies that I actually hadn't thought a lot about method. My approach was pretty intuitive. And I suppose I did have some methodological considerations, but I've never studied method in this area. And so I said to him at the end of his paper, hey, I didn't really think much about method, so I'd be curious on your assessment after I'm done. And I ran into him afterwards and I said, well, what'd you think? And he goes, this was so interesting. I only know of 2 people in the world who've ever done what you just did. I was like, oh, who are they? So he listed the 2 people and he said, you should pursue this. This was really creative. I was like, well, maybe creativity is one fruit of going on a trip to Egypt, having an original thought and not actually immersing myself in methodology because that didn't lock me into a certain approach. I was just kind of playing with ideas.
Yeah. I think it's great. Is any of that going to be incorporated into your commentary?
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
I'm working on the tabernacle instructions now. Today I spent I think all of my day on the high priestly garments. So I'm getting there. I'm excited that it's coming out. I think it's going to be awesome. And it reminded me when you were making your case, it reminded me of how Mary Douglas did with Leviticus, how she was an anthropologist and she read Leviticus through the lens of anthropology and arrived at a 3-tiered structure of it, mimicking the pattern of the tabernacle. So it was I was like, this is a really interesting way to, even if somebody ends up saying, well, I'm not convinced because of the, whatever, they like, even if they pick at part of the theory, the thing that it forces people to do, or at least to think about, is reading it as a whole and seeing it as a whole and look the
like
narrative logic. Yeah.
Because it wouldn't.
Sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead. Yeah.
I was going to say Exodus has often been compared with Mesopotamian background because those who think that, or like Assyrian period stuff, because those who think that Exodus was written really late in Israel's history, like in an exilic framework, are looking at, okay, what are the beliefs in Babylon or in Assyria that would help us understand this? So it's a little bit newer to actually look at Egyptian parallels with Egypt, with Exodus. And that's what I was attempting to explore. The more I study Egypt, the more I see stuff that really is helpful with regard to Exodus. So I don't feel like I'm enough of an expert in Egypt to know all that I need to know on Exodus, but I feel like it's been such a fruitful area. There's a good question here about there's a way to get a copy of the presentation at SBL that I'm aware of. I will be giving this talk in other places and venues, so keep following me and you'll see it. There will be parts of it in my commentary, and I will try to publish it somewhere. And it has lots of pictures, and it only works with the pictures, so I have to figure out the right place to put it.
Yeah.
What's the best place to follow you, Dr. Imes? Like, which social is your most active?
So I'm probably, so Substack and YouTube are probably the two best places. Of other things, I'm most active on Facebook, but on Substack, people can subscribe for free to my newsletter. And that's where it's sort of one-stop shopping. If I have stuff coming out in other places, I talk about it on Substack. So that would be one way to find me. And then when I get back to releasing YouTube content, that will be another good place. I'm taking a short break because I just reached my limits as a human being.
Yeah, it's marvelous. I marveled that you were able to do all that you do. And the thought of me sitting and writing a commentary right now, like I couldn't even begin to think where to start on something like that. So you're doing that and writing other stuff and you gave like 30 I don't know how many you gave at SBL. It seemed like you gave a ton of presentations.
Only 2. I did a little publisher thing for B&H, but I also did ETS paper and SBL paper, and I got to preach on Sunday, which was super fun. I haven't done that.
Was it at Mike Chu's church?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's really cool. Yeah, so follow Carmen's Substack, because that's where it's kind of like become what your blog used to be, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like you're using that as your...
Yeah, the blog is still there, but I'm not putting any new content on it. Substack's the place. Yeah.
Yeah.
I also have a website. I also have a website that I launched this summer. It's carmenjoyimes.com. And that has links that's more helpful than Substack if you're looking for where is Carmen's content housed permanently. So it has links to my Bible Project class, my biblical training class, all my Admirado classes. So if you're looking for like, where does Carmen have stuff, you can go to my website, carmenjoyimes.com.
Yeah. Check it out. I'm glancing at the comments as they're coming in. And I'm seeing, so one of our grown-ups table members, David Rogers, said his Secret Santa got him 2 of your books.
Yay.
That he has just started.
That's my kind of Secret Santa.
Yeah, right.
Bring on the theology books.
Yes. So Carmen's latest.
Oh, I have it here. I can hold it up.
So, yes, this is Carmen's latest book.
On accident.
This was, I've already said on the episode where you came on, talked about it. This is my favorite of the 3. They're all really, really good. The first one was the most, probably the most eye-opening for a lot of people. If I had to guess, I'd say the first one was the most eye-opening because it introduced them to, the law. Yeah, bearing God's name. The law is still relevant.
Mm-hmm.
And then the second, I think, was like expanding on that, being God's image, broadened it out back into Genesis. This one to me was sort of where they were all headed all along, which is about the people of God and, God's image and God's covenant people was not just for a historical anomaly. It was for an all-time thing to create a worldwide family, which really gets unpacked in this volume.
Yeah.
So if you haven't read it, folks, you can read them in any order, but I think it's a good progression. The first 2 books lay groundwork, and then this one sort of where they're all headed. That's how it seemed to me.
If you guys want to nerd out really, really bad, and you want to see further connections in the background, like how the first book, Bearing God's Name, how it ties into Revelations, I think it's chapter 12, etc., then you need to get this. I'm out nerding. Oh my God, you would have one right there.
Well, I mean, it's my desk, so here we are. Yeah,
trying to out nerd the Bible nerds here in front of me.
Yeah. Good job, Gregory. I'm impressed that you have it. I sell like 5 copies a year, so you're one of the few.
You could buy like a couple of whole sets for the price of that. Is that right?
Oh, you can.
This is correct.
Academic publishing.
Dr. Imes, not from the chat. This is from me.
Okay.
Did you know when you were writing the first one that it was a trilogy and that you were landing? Oh, so it kind of organically built into the church being God's, the final one. And then of course, is there a 4th one coming?
Okay, so I wrote this one with the idea that it was one book, just taking my dissertation and taking the ideas and making it accessible for a wider audience. a week after this one was released, well, actually just before it released, I said to my editor, I don't really have a second book idea. But then a week after it came out, I had just been on Michael Heiser's podcast, the Naked Bible podcast. And then I was laying in bed that night and I had an idea for book 2. I just all of a sudden had an idea for the cover. So this one looks a little bit like a tree to me. If you take out the tablets on top of the mountain there, it sort of looks like the mountain is a tree trunk. And I was like, oh, if they just took out the tablets and turned it green, it would look like a tree. And it could be about creation, why creation matters. And creation and covenant to me are like the 2 big things that go through the whole Bible. And then I could go back to Genesis. So they didn't totally take my idea on cover. They wanted to put a tree on there too, in addition to the cloud. But it's at that point, I didn't have an idea for book 3, but when I pitched the second one, but before I had even finished writing it, I had an idea for the third one. And I just realized that in the West, we're so trained to think individualistically that when so many of us, when we read the Bible, we don't even see the communal dimensions of what's there, because we're just all about like, it's about me getting saved, or it's about me self-improving or whatever. And I thought, what if I could take people back through the whole Bible and show them that all the way through it's about the community of faith and how God's presence shows up in the community. And it was during COVID that I was writing this one. It came out in 2023. And I was also watching people's commitment to the church begin to fray, and the politics of COVID sort of put pressure on people's commitment. And I realized partway through, somebody needs to make the case for church again. So that's where book 3 came out. So you asked if there's a 4th. I did turn in a proposal this week for 2 more books with IVP that would not be, it wouldn't break the trilogy. I think the trilogy is done, but they would be maybe companion pieces. For those who, because I've been asked many, many times, teach me how to read the Bible the way you read it. And the other thing I get asked all the time is, how do you discern the will of God and like learn to do God's will? So I have an idea for 2 sort of workbooks that would go along with it. They could be standalone, but people who've liked the trilogy would also like these. One of them would be maybe believing God, engaging God's word. I can't remember what title I decided. And then the other one's something about discerning God's will. Someone asked about the Exodus commentary. I'm 84.5% done writing it as of today. And I met with my editor in Boston, and he says if I turn it in by the summer, it will be out in time for SBL 2027. So that's in 2 years. It should be out. And I do think I can finish by summer. So that's going to go by in a flash.
Is it? Hold on just a second. Is it in this series?
Yes.
Okay. So yeah, if you're looking for Carmen's commentary, it's going to be in the Baker Old Testament commentary series. This is a really good series, by the way. I'm using John Golden Gaze for the Psalms.
So good. I love his Psalms commentary.
Yeah, Richard Middleton turned me onto that. He said, this is the best commentary ever of all commentaries. I was like, whoa, that's high praise. I need to get it.
Wow. So that series has kind of sub-series. So what you were just holding up is Baker commentary on the Old Testament.
The wisdom.
Is it called Psalms and Wisdom or something?
I think it's the wisdom.
So mine is the
Psalms.
So mine is the Pentateuch subset, and Bill Arnold is the editor for that.
It'll be, are they purple?
No, it's the same color as what you just
okay.
Actually.
I feel like maybe it's the New Testament I'm thinking of. I feel like I saw one that was like that, purple.
Yeah,
Carmen, my favorite thing about SBL this year was honestly just you and I having dinner and just chatting about life and getting to pray for each other. And it was my 4th SBL. It was probably.
Oh, we lost you. Where's JM? I liked having dinner with JM too. I can't hear you, Gregory.
Oops, he'll be right back.
There we go.
He's back now.
Yeah, I'm
That's
back.
been happening all
Yes,
night.
internet does not like me tonight. It keeps kicking me off.
Oh man.
But I was gonna say my favorite thing about it was us just sitting and talking, because was my 4th SBL. It was like your 13th or 15th. I don't know how many you've been to. You've been to a lot, and they were all so busy, and there's just so much going on, and we just got to sit and eat and chat about life and what was going on, and that was really it was very beneficial, and just
It's been so fun having you there these past few years. I love sort of I love introducing you to people I know, and now you're just hanging out with people that I introduced you to, and that's really fun. It's good to see you in your element. I think you were nervous the first year that, like, if you don't have a PhD, maybe you won't fit in, and I think you've found your people and are having a blast. So
no, you and Richard Middleton took me under your wing. You introduced me to a bunch of people, and combat the imposter syndrome. And then from then people started to realize, and I think it's been helpful me being able to see what you guys are doing and following you and promoting and uplifting your stuff. That's then let other people see what this channel does and say, oh, okay, this is a safe, scholarly, friendly environment. They don't, if I ask to talk with somebody now, or a publisher, when I ask for stuff to review, it's not as random, and it's not like, oh, this is just some person. It's like, oh yeah, because they know that the viewers, I mean, I don't know how many we have on the stream right now, but the viewers, like a number of them have said, oh, you guys, Carmen and JM, are killing my book budget.
After my ETS paper, somebody raised their hand during the Q&A, and they were like, will you tell my wife why she needs to let me buy all the books you recommend?
Yeah. And I think we're mission accomplished. I mean, I'm just happy pointing people to good stuff. And you are one of the people producing good stuff. So
I'm trying, man.
You're doing it. No,
you're doing it. Life is a lot. This was, I think, my 16th year going to the conferences, and I would not miss it. I mean, it's to me, it's the highlight of the year. It's Nerd Fest. Like all my people from all the schools I've attended are there. All my mentors. It's like, and here's the thing. There's no small talk. Like, it's not like going to a party and you got to sit around and talk about the Dodgers or something. Everybody's just like diving in. They dive in right away, and they're like, okay, so how's that commentary coming? Or like, what did you think of so-and-so's new monograph? I love it.
Yeah.
I laugh really hard at that, because that's the most me comment I've ever heard in many spaces. I complain about that almost weekly at work things that I have to go to, and everyone, they're dying to get somewhere and talk about absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
I want to talk about how's the weather, and
you don't need to talk about the weather because you're inside.
I could care less about that. Let's talk about if it's my day job. Let's talk about AI or cybersecurity. If it's the Bible, let's talk. But let's not just talk about nothing. So I struggle with that a lot too. Two things real quick. I thought it was funny what you said about someone raising their hand about their wife. Someone in the chat, Adrian in the chat, said, my wife just called me from her job while this stream is on, saying, you have enough Bibles, sir. So the thread of wives saying easy on the Bible thing. I haven't been at the conferences in 2 years now for exactly that reason, because I come home with boxes of books, and my wife is like, read all of the ones you have, and then you're allowed to get
Okay, so since the theme is study Bibles, I'll show the latest. This is,
I was just going to ask you about this. Yes.
Yeah, I brought this one home from the conference. It's not even out yet. January 1st, it's coming out. This is the CSB Women's Study Bible. So put out by Holman Publishers, and I wrote the study notes on Exodus for this. So it is a women's study Bible, but it is more scholarly than the average women's study Bible. So here's an article about Ida Scudder in the middle of Exodus, but here are it actually looks like a study Bible. Here we go with picture of the Egyptian god Horus. So there we have it.
I've
I
just
don't know if that's the
posted.
best place to order it. It is I just checked and I just ordered it. It's available on Amazon for pre-order. It does drop on Amazon on the 1st of January. So if you want that book, that looks amazing. I just bought that.
Yeah,
For
I just posted
a woman in my life. I just bought it for her.
Before this,
She's not
before the
watching
stream started, I just posted up an excerpt from Genesis in that I came across that incorporated, as you commented, Carmen, that Jeff Niehaus insight on the wind of the day rather than the cool of the day.
Did Kathy McDowell do the Genesis notes in this one?
I was going to ask you, because this is the maddening thing. Holman did not put at the back who did what. It has all of your names, but it doesn't say, at least my copy that they sent does not say who contributed.
Okay, so I brought this home from SBL, but I did not actually, I haven't spent any time with it. And one of the weird things about doing work like this, it's work for hire. So I sent in all my notes 4 years ago. It was my first semester at Biola, and this is my 5th year now. So like 4 years ago, I sent in all my notes, and then it's been in process all that time. And I was not given page proofs to look at. So I don't actually know what made the cut and what is in here or how it's laid out. I haven't really spent a lot of time with it yet.
Yeah, I read the opening essays. I read the intertestamental. And then I'm starting, because I always do Genesis, Exodus, Romans, and Revelation. And then I do the egalitarian, complementarian, how it lands on that issue.
Yeah.
And this one's going to be interesting because it is Holman, which is a Southern Baptist owned company. Yeah. But I'm only in Genesis. I've only read the notes for like Genesis, like 1 through 7 so far.
I'm pretty sure it was Kathy who did Genesis. Was her name on the list?
Her name was in it, and Christine Palmer, I'm guessing, would have done Leviticus.
I think so.
So yeah,
so I said yes to this only after seeing the list of who else was contributing, and when I saw that everyone else had PhDs, I knew that the quality of the notes was going to be strong, and so I decided to contribute. But again, I haven't even I'm just seeing the maps in the back for the first time. They're very colorful.
Yeah, those are the Holman maps.
This is a much less feminine looking Bible than the other one I contributed to that you like.
So here's what I'm going to say, because you told me this at SBL and I didn't get a copy then. They actually sent me a gift box with the Bible and a journal and a pen and confetti, and it was very like influencer-y. And so I remember you telling me about the aesthetic, and here's my take. You can tell me what you think. Have you ever heard of the phrase the coastal grandmother aesthetic? Do you know that term?
Oh, I haven't heard that.
So it's like if you think about it, the coastal grandmother aesthetic is like distressed wooden furniture, muted ocean breeze colors, comfy sweaters, a glass of wine. It's like you can Google it. It's a thing. The coastal grandmother aesthetic. That's what the NLT study Bible, Women's Study Bible had to me. It had that kind of feel. This one has a parlor aesthetic, it's a refined. It's very refined. It's very subtle. It's not. There's not like handwritten font or string lights and pictures of somebody in a field or any of that. It's very like there's some gilding and there's a picture of grapes and but it's very toned down. It's like when you go into
there's not even any like scrolling or anything like on a regular page. Like it just there we go. Yeah. There's the Sennacherib prism, and there's no like flowers or anything.
Yeah, it's just straight study Bible.
It's the study Bible for women who don't like study Bible, like women's study Bibles, I think.
That's exactly what it is. There's the hint of, it's kind of like the living room that you go in, whereas the other study Bible is more like the den or the like where you enter. This has a little more formal feel. Yeah. It feels like a woman's study, like a library, like a woman, but with a little bit of a womanly touch. So it's going to be fun reviewing.
There's other covers that don't have like all this on it. I think just like plain covers, like leather. I imagine the inside is the same.
Yeah, they only sent me that one that you have the hardback. So
Okay.
it does have the other leather covers,
Like
but yeah.
the first page to each book has some images on it that look like the cover. So probably the other like the leather ones would look like this inside, but that's the only place you get the art, is only on the entrance to each book.
Yeah.
So
I'm liking it, but I'm a guy and I know I'm not the target audience, but I'm liking it so far.
Okay.
And I'm going to give it, unless they throw a weird curveball in the later books that I get to,
Yeah.
so far it's got really good thumbs up.
Good. Okay.
But I haven't gotten to Exodus. I'm going to really comb through Exodus. You never know what you get there.
Never know. Never know.
Do you want to do the question that Vern Levine has had on the screen? It was
Sure.
one that I was going to do earlier, but I'd actually like to hear how you would respond to this question.
Yeah, so I think I would answer this question maybe in a similar way that I would answer the question.
Oh, just let me read the question just for
Yeah.
audio if somebody's
Yeah.
listening. And the question is, do you think that the Canaanite god El is the same as Yahweh? I've wondered if the pantheon was a corruption of true worship of him, as he identifies himself as El Shaddai to Abram. So did it get muddled somewhere in there, and El of the Canaanites?
Yeah.
El Shaddai.
I'll say this first. El just means God. It's a title, not a name. And the Bible uses Elohim or El to refer to Yahweh. So you can see there's some overlap there. I feel like my approach to this question would be similar to my approach to, is Allah the same as Yahweh? So Muslims worship God as Allah, and Allah is the Arabic word that's the equivalent of El. And so there is one supreme deity, and every culture has a different name for that deity. And every culture has different degrees of how much about that deity has been revealed. So I would consider there to be only one supreme deity, Yahweh. And to the extent that the Canaanites are accurately describing the supreme deity and calling him El, like there might be some overlap there. But I don't think they have the benefit of covenant and the revelation of scripture to tell them everything about who Yahweh is. And therefore, they have some very distorted views of what God wants from them and what they ought to do to worship God. And so we can't look to Canaanite religion to learn about God. Right. But I do think there's probably vestiges of true things about God that they are recognizing as they worship. But their worship is misguided or misdirected because it lacks revelation. Would
you put it in a similar, would this be along the lines of what Paul was telling the Athenians about the unknown God, that what you worship in ignorance, I'm actually going to tell you the real thing? So they grasped, it's like they grasped, Lewis and Tolkien would say, the true myth, like the real thing, but it was not salvific, it was not substantive, it was hints or shadows. I think that's a good connection. What Paul is doing there is a bridge building kind of evangelism that I would think would make sense. I mean, so you've got Rahab, who sees what God does on behalf of the Israelites coming out of Egypt, and she concludes, okay, Yahweh is the most powerful, and she switches her allegiance. Like, this is the name that we need to use for the highest God, and he's more powerful than the God we've been worshiping, or now we know more about him. I think she's seeing it as a separate deity. Yahweh is not El, and he's stronger than El, so he deserves our highest allegiance. I don't feel like any Canaanites would hear about the Exodus and assume, oh, this is just our God. I feel like the cosmogony of the Canaanite gods was so different.
I think you're right.
Any of the concepts.
And they all believed that deities had a territory that they were responsible for. So Yahweh, or a people. So Yahweh is the God of the Israelites. El is the God of the Canaan. I don't know. So I think you're right. They wouldn't have blended it.
I just got finished listening. I forgot who recommended it. tangentially related. Have you heard anything about the book? It came out very recently on Assyria by Eckhart Fromm.
No.
I think it's just called Assyria or the Assyrians.
Nope.
I just finished listening to it on.
Uh-oh.
He's back. He's back.
Yeah,
He's
this
back.
has been happening all night. I think a Gordon Conwell professor recommended it in like new things out, and Assyrians were the ones, because I'd spent a good bit of time doing the Canaanite, the Baal epic, and going through that, but I hadn't done anything with this. And Babylon was a little more familiar, but the Assyrians were sort of a blank to me. But he would kind of do that, like make the same. It's not a believing scholar. He would make the same assumptions, like this God gets morphed into this God, which then gets morphed into this God.
And that definitely happens in Egypt. Like there's gods that then become composite gods, and so you'll see in the iconography, like they have the hat of one and the body of the other, and there's Amun and there's Re and there's Amun Re.
Right.
And so they become like conglomerations of gods.
Yeah. But you don't see that in scripture. And I think that scholars who come from outside a covenantal believing worldview have a hard time accepting that Israelite belief could have been monotheistic, because none of the other beliefs were, or it could have, that God could have revealed it. So if you have to explain it on a naturalistic development of religion paradigm, then I think that's what's happening. And so then people will start talking past each other.
Yeah.
Of El as Yahweh, and it just all gets, I don't know. I see that a lot in the comments on the Baal series here on the channel. People love telling you what they think they know about Baal and who worships him today. Do we have any other questions?
Got a question that just popped up. Should your church's translation be your main translation or just in circulation? I'm not sure what the end of the question means.
I think it's saying like if you go to a church and their main translation is the King James or the New King James, should that also be your primary reading translation or just one of the ones you use?
I'm going to say that depends on how carefully your church chose their translation. Because if your church chose the ESV, then you should definitely not have that as your main translation.
I want to hear, drop a hot take on the ESV if you want to, since you mentioned it.
My rule of thumb in choosing a translation is that it has been translated from Greek and Hebrew and Aramaic by scholars who know those languages, who are working in a committee made up of people with a variety of church commitments and backgrounds. And I want to see both men and women on the committee. I want to see different nationalities represented, because the English language is used differently in different regions of the world. And so I think it's really important to have an international group of people on the committee. And I think it's also important that the committee continues to meet yearly or regularly to update the language and to make sure that they're assessing whether the language continues to communicate, because the English language is not static, it changes. That's why the Oxford Dictionary can release its word of the year and like add a new word to the dictionary. And this year's new word is rage bait, because we're all using that enough that it now needs to be in the dictionary. Right, so the English language changes. And so it should be, the translation should continually be updated. Also, new discoveries are being made all the time in archaeology and in linguistics. And so we learn things that go, oh, now we get what's going on in this passage and we didn't realize it before. So the ESV was not a translation, a fresh translation from Greek, Hebrew, and Aramaic. It was an updating of an copyright expired translation. I think the ASV. Once the copyright expired, they acquired it, changed 5% of it, and re-released it with an explicitly complementarian agenda. The committee was made up of all male scholars from a narrow group of denominations that had a similar perspective theologically. So there was not a diversity. It wasn't an ecumenical committee. It was not international. The committee is no longer meeting. So it's disbanded. I believe all the men on the committee were in advanced stages. They would all be considered senior scholars. And so I'm not trying to be ageist. Older people have plenty to offer, but there wasn't representation on the committee from younger people who know how language is being used and how language is evolving. And I see this all the time in the classroom when students who are using the ESV ask me questions because they're reading along in their Bible and they come across words that do not exist anymore in the English language. Like, what's a frontlet? What's carbuncle? These are words we don't use, but they're in the ESV. I think partly because those who translated the ESV were older and had become used to Bible-y words, and so they didn't think to update them. So I would not recommend the ESV. You can consult it if you want to, but I wouldn't make it your main translation.
Follow-up question on the ESV before you drift away from it.
Okay.
I've heard, and I'm sure this is the case with other translations as well, I've heard, and this is why I liked the ESV. I now dislike it based on what you just explained, because I was not aware of that. But I've heard the ESV was at one point the first, or potentially at one point the only translation that took into account the Dead Sea Scroll discoveries in the 40s or whenever they were discovered or whatever. Is that not a thing at all? Is that just some?
That's very confusing to me, because the fact that they were basing their translation on a base text that had not availed itself of all the latest archaeological and linguistic discoveries makes me think it's the opposite of that. So maybe they consulted the Dead Sea Scrolls but missed other things. I don't know. If somebody wants to dig into this more deeply, Bill Mounts has published an article online that you can read. He was on the ESV translation committee. And when it disbanded, he was recruited by the NIV translation committee, which is called the Committee on Bible Translation. So he joined them, and then he wrote an article called "What I Learned About Translation" by joining the CBT. And he says he had no idea what translation even was or what they were trying to do until he joined the NIV committee. Then he started to realize, like, oh, we thought we were being more faithful to scripture by being word for word and being as woodenly literal as possible. We weren't actually working for accurate communication in a target language. And the NIV committee works on that. So the NIV committee has both men and women representing a wide variety of denominational backgrounds and some who are international. They meet every summer. They started fresh work with just Greek, Hebrew, and Aramaic as they were building the translation. And now as they're updating the translation, they are taking into consideration archaeological discoveries, linguistic discoveries, changes in the English language. The NLT is similar, that the New Living Translation has a multi-denominational, multinational, male and female committee of scholars who know what they're doing. And so I really, that's what I look for is a committee. So I think CEB would also meet that standard, although I haven't spent time with the CEB, the Common English Bible. The new Revised Standard Version Updated Edition has had a lot of scholarly input. I haven't used that one as much either. I'm kind of an NIV girl, unless I'm like working directly in Greek or Hebrew.
I've realized that translation, as our friend Mark Ward says, there's translation tribalism, and it can be really jarring for people to like, if they have a favorite translation and someone brings a valid criticism against that translation, that can be really jarring for some people. Like, I grew up reading the New Revised Standard Version because I grew up Methodist.
Yeah.
And through college, I preferred the NRSV. And then I got to seminary, and I think it was actually Jeff Niehaus. He was like,
What are you
people
doing?
were reading, and he said, "Does anybody have an NRSV?" And I was like, "Yeah, I do." And he's like, "Can you read this passage?" And read it, and he was like, "Now, can you throw it away?" He was so anti-NRSV.
That sounds like Jeff Niehaus.
Yeah, and and he was one of my favorite professors. But it helped me realize that even the best translation, even the translation you like the most, is going to be bad at is going to fail at something, because every translation has blind spots. Every translation, it's so the more you compare, the less.
Oh, we lost him. And what he's about to say is you should compare multiple translations.
The more you can compare, the
Yes,
less.
that was exactly it. But the more you compare translations, the lower the stakes get in your Bible battles. So now if somebody's like, "Oh, I think let's say the CSB, oh, I think the CSB is garbage." And I'm like, "Well, actually, I use it as one of my daily reading, but I think it's fine." But that won't stop me at all from making a change in it if I'm reading the Hebrew and I'm like, this didn't capture what I think it's capturing very well. Like, I'll put a little note in the margin so that when I'm teaching, it doesn't become as big a deal for people that are not wedded to one translation. And I think other than the King James, the ESV has the most committed followers, fans.
And I think there are a couple reasons for that. It was very effectively marketed as the most literal translation
with celebrity endorsement
in the tradition of the King James version. Bill Mounce's article helps us see that actually it's very inconsistent in how literal its translation is, even if you're going to say that's the right standard to have. And I would actually argue that it's not. So I'm translating Exodus pretty woodenly for my commentary in order to show repeated words and stuff. There's some value to that, but you lose something in communication when you're sticking with how was this word. Like if you're trying to use the same English word every time a Hebrew word is used, you start to, like, I'm dealing with this in the tabernacle instructions. The word natan means to give or to set or put. And today I was translating it affix, because like you're not putting rings on the high priestly garments, you're attaching them. So you can't use the same English word and actually capture the meaning of that word in that context. So the ESV had a very strong marketing committee. And I think what's frustrating to me is how many churches that believe strongly in women and men ministering side by side in the church also use the ESV, because they don't realize that the translation was literally made in order to counter egalitarian theology. They were concerned about the direction the NIV was going with pronouns, and they were trying to steer the ship back in a conservative direction. And I think people don't realize the backstory.
No clue.
Well, one of the reasons that people, because I go to a church now, and it uses, like a lot of the Anglican Church of North America, they use the ESV because the only other option in that stream is the NRSV or the RSV, which they do see as taking a liberal direction. And I don't think they're wrong on that. And so within that tradition, the ESV is sort of, I mean, it has the credentials in terms of, like, J.I. Packer was one of the guys. And of course, I mean, J.I. Packer is a beloved theologian. So it had some trust that it's not going to give you like liberal Christology or deny the virgin conception or any of these things that people are really worried about with some of those other translations. But it also, I think they don't realize like you said, was implicitly created by the Committee on Biblical Manhood and Womanhood to shore up a very reformed complementarian perspective. I mean, that's not secret if you actually read from the people who put it together and the early marketers. But I think just people don't know, and they go, well, ESV, I mean, it's good enough for John Piper, good enough for me.
And I think people don't realize that that one of the reasons we have so many English translations is because of copyright. Yes. That each publisher likes to have their own translation, then they don't have to ask permission to publish. Like when you're publishing Bible related resources, you can freely use the one your publisher owns the copyright to. So this is why we have so many. Crossway did the ESV, Zondervan did the NIV, Tyndale did the New Living Translation, Holman did the CSB. This is why we have so many, and people don't realize that's part of the backstory behind English translations.
I had no idea on that piece. I also had no idea on the background of the ESV, if you want to call it that. So you're giving, as usual, a graduate level class in publishing, biblical history, and a couple of other things. Thank you.
Well, it's an off the cuff history. I was thinking about doing a series for my channel on Bible translations this month, and I just haven't had time to get to it. So here we go.
Well, let me tell you,
it will Exodus first, then do that.
Yeah, and let me tell you, it'll find an audience, and it'll upset apple carts, regardless of which translation you engage with. People are real tribal.
That's why I waited until I got tenure to start talking about it.
Yes, there we go.
There's a question here. I think it's a phenomenal question. It's been
do you have time for one more, Carmen?
Sure, a quick one.
All right.
Older student returning to school considering a school's management and liberty degree. I want solid credentials and real biblical depth, but I worry about starting too late. Any advice, both to Dr. Imes and JM? Too late for an older student to return?
It's never too late if you want to learn. If you are in your 60s and you're thinking you're going to get a PhD and then become a tenure track professor, probably not going to happen. But if you want to go back to school because you want to learn and grow, and you want the tools to dig deeper, then I would absolutely encourage you to do it. I've known many older students who've come back to school as a second career, and they have thoroughly enjoyed it. I have a couple of students now who are probably in their 60s, and they're hanging with all the younger grad students and really loving the experience and able to devote a lot of time and energy to it. So I would say go for it. You said you're considering Liberty's Christian Leadership and Management degree. Depends on what you are looking for. A Christian Leadership and Management degree isn't going to give you solid biblical, like real biblical depth. It's going to be very practically driven. Liberty is one of the largest schools in the U.S. right now, probably the largest theological education. But it is a valid question to ask whether the biggest school is the place where you're going to get the most depth. Because in order to grow really big, there's usually scale issues. And so you might not be getting that as high quality if you go with a giant school.
That's an important point too, that you made about the type of degree. I think some people just hear seminary and they think, oh, you become a Bible expert, but it really does depend on your degree. So if you're wanting to just have, I completely echo what Carmen said. It's never too, in fact, one of the best things you can do for your mind as it ages is to continue learning, to acquire new skills, to be pushed, to stretch. Like that's actually one of the ways that cognitively you keep from your brain atrophying as you get old and just walk on the beach and collect seashells. Like you're doing something.
No, you should do that too.
Do it as a break from your learning.
Yes.
But if we're just, if you're just waiting around to die, you're just living to just live rather than doing something, like putting your energy into something. And it doesn't have to be academic by any means. I mean, for some people it can manifest in a bunch of different ways, but it's never too late to acquire new knowledge. And I love the point you made, Carmen, about if you want to think you're going to become a tenured professor it might be a little too late if you're already in your second career, but the knowledge you're getting in the biblical depth is absolutely worth it.
Anecdotal information. I'll give you a super short testimony. It's not testimony, just some statement of facts. I went to college. I left my home in the Caribbean. Well, was sent from my mom and dad from in the Caribbean to Tulsa, Oklahoma, to Oral Roberts University at 16 years old to go to college. Quit college 3.5 years later because I didn't like it. My dad was like, "Why didn't you quit 1 year? And why'd you wait for 3.5 years?" That's another story for another time. And I never got my degree until I'm now knocking on the door of 60. I didn't go back to school to get my bachelor's and then my master's until my 50s. And I had a blast doing it. That thing, what the person Thug Walker 94 wanted, solid credential, well, real biblical depth. That's what I wanted. I absolutely 100% got that by the finishing of my bachelor's and doing my master's in my 50s in biblical studies. Absolutely 100% was a game changer for how I read the Bible, how I understand the Bible, a lot of the historical stuff. That's how I met Dr. Imes. That's how I met JM. That's how I started going to the biblical conferences. So don't let age be an issue at all. I guarantee you, your brain probably still works perfectly fine. For me, I did way better in college in my 50s than I did when I was, a teenager in college.
Most older students do really well because they understand, like, I'm paying for this, I want this matters.
I graduated with a 4.1 GPA or something insane like that, and I couldn't graduate when I was a teenager. Like, I flunked out of high school, out of college. I didn't stop because I was amazing, and I stopped because I was getting Fs, and I wanted to work. So yeah, the time makes a difference, and you definitely don't let age even play into the calculation of it. If you think God is sending you, get to go into college.
Totally. I finished my PhD at 39, and I do have a tenure track job, and I do have tenure. So that's considered late for a PhD to finish at 39. I've had friends finish in their 40s, 50s, 60s, finish a PhD, depending on what you want to do with it. It's worth doing it.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Carmen, I know you're busy, and it's probably dinner time where you are.
It is dinner time.
Thank you so much for coming and hanging out with us. Thank you for your friendship. You are one of the reasons Disciple Dojo is what it is today. Very, very much appreciative. And so we're so glad that you could stop by this live.
Yeah, thanks for doing this. It's fun to see you, and I love your work. Keep up the good work. All of us are benefiting from your recommendations.
Well, ditto, and I just stole your 3 shelves in my last book review.
Sweet.
So, and I told them I'm stealing this from Carmen Imes. It's an open secret. All right, Carmen. Well, thanks so much. Have a great rest of your weekend.
All right, you too.
Bye. All right, Gregory. Let's fly through some giveaways.
Do it. You want to do the wheel? You want to just give stuff away? There's questions we can give away stuff for.
Yeah, I want to let's give Ray these peripherals, and then we'll do a chunk of study Bibles because we're coming up on we got like a half hour. So let's do some of these first. All right, let's do the Zondervan. We'll just do these real quick. Those of you in the chat, the first one we're going to do is if you want the Zondervan Academic, the really nice tote with the really nice journal. I'll switch to overhead view so you can see it's a really nice, well, there we go. A lined journal, pen, the tote. All right, so if you want to win this, the first person that puts capital letter Z in the chat, the first person we see that puts a capital letter Z, I'm going to send you the Zondervan bag if you email me. So Gregory's going to keep an eye on that. We'll see who enters. And I would keep the journal if I'd used handwritten journals, but I just don't.
Darren Rose, spelled in a unique way. Yes,
right.
It is a U.S. giveaway only, unless you email DM a way to pay for the international shipping. Someone just asked about the international.
Yeah, all of our giveaways, you have to have a U.S. PO box for us to be able to ship it to you, or a U.S. address. Darren Rose or Rouse, I think it's Rose. You're the winner, but you have to email discipledojo at
No. He wasn't the winner. He just asked that question.
Oh, sorry. I thought you were announcing the winner.
Yeah, no, he just asked the question. I wanted to get him answered. We do have a winner though. What were we doing? Just picking the first one?
Yep, just the first one.
Someone commented first before this person. Someone commented A. I don't know if that was sarcastic, but the first Z.
The first Z was Mark.
Yep.
Mark's a local. Mark, I don't even have to mail this to you because I'm going to see you soon. So I'm just going to give this to you in person. Okay, let's do the 2 other Bible covers. These are, I'll switch to overhead. So these are the kind of zip up. So if you have, these work really good, by the way. You guys know I'm a big fan of paperback Bibles. So if you buy a paperback Bible and you put it in one of these, then it's not only protected and you have a place to carry your pens and church bulletins and stuff, but it also protects, and you save a lot of money by buying a paperback Bible. So we've got one of these.
And he's gone. He'll be right back in a second. He'll show you the rest of that Bible.
Hold on. Am I back? There we go.
Yep, you are.
All right. So yeah, this is the other Bible cover. Inside, place for a pen holder, 2 pens. So highlighter and a pen or a pencil. Pocket in the front, and it looks kind of like a purse. I don't know why my overhead's so dark. It's usually lighter. But anyway, so we're going to give these 2 away. And let's do the first purse. We'll just do them one at a time. If you want the purse-looking one, then put in the chat the word purse. P-U-R-S-E, purse. And I will get this to you. These were donated by a viewer, by the way. I don't know if she is watching, but if she is, thank you very much. So the first one, purse. Oh, Cherie says we got Grown-Ups Table members in the chat. Grown-Ups Table members, I got something for y'all. Hang tight. Do not leave the chat. We're going to be giving away a special Grown-Ups Table prize. All right. Do we have a winner?
Yes, we do have a winner. And the winner is this person right here.
Lightweight Pup. Lightweight Pup's been on before and has won stuff in the past. Congratulations. Lightweight Pup, you're winning the purse cover. This one, by the way, this cover has one of those magnetic fasteners, which is kind of cool. Let's do this Bible cover now, which is not a purse. Just put in the chat, the first person that puts cover, C-O-V-E-R, cover, and you win this one. Somebody asked in the chat, where can we send donations?
I'll drop the link. I'll drop the link.
Yeah, if it's physical donations, you can contact me through the website, through discipledojo.org. At the top of the page, contact, and I can give you the shipping address. That's where people send Bibles to review. If it's a donation, which is, by the way, guys, we're coming up on the end of the year. This is a nonprofit ministry. We really, really need monthly dojo donors, like people that give $10 a month, $20 a month. That's what lets us do all of this. I mean, our one-time gifts are great, but the monthly committed gift of like $20, $10, even $5, it really makes a difference in a small nonprofit. Okay, do we have a winner for the Bible cover? New Horizons 43. All right, New Horizons 43. All of you that win stuff, remember, you have to email me, discipledojo@gmail. Tell me what you won, your name, and where to ship it. Okay, we have 2 more prizes before we finish Bibles. Let's do the Cross Bible poster. This is, and actually, Stephen from Cross Bible was in the chat. I don't know if he still is or not, but if you guys haven't watched our review of Cross Bible and the discussion he and I had at SBL about new features, check it out. This is one of the things that they offer. This is the actual printed poster, all the biblical manuscripts the distinct manuscripts from different centuries. This is a really cool poster. It's available digitally for the $5 a month. So Cross Bible, if you didn't see that episode, it's a free Bible study platform. Our discussion that we just had with Carmen, we're talking about different translations. Things like Cross Bible are one of the best ways to do comparisons of translations, because it lets you pull up and customize. Like, I want to see the NIV, the BSB, and the ESV or whatever. You can put them side by side and save it and have your own settings and your own highlight the different colors. That, check it out. It's amazing. And it's completely free, but there is a $5 a month subscription option that lets you customize and get access to it's really, you're not getting access to a lot more material, although there is some, but you're getting the benefit. You're getting customizable features to let you really kind of turn it into your own Bible study portal. And for the price of a cup of coffee a month or a Happy Meal a month, you get access to it on Cross Bible's website. So I very much love what they're doing. And those who subscribe.
I'm gonna wait till JM comes back to say what I'm about to say, because I want to make sure that I have permission to say it. I want to give him the space to cut me off if he needs to. I was just saying, JM, I want to say something about Cross Bible.
Yeah, go ahead.
Off if you don't agree. I have no way of vetting this with you beforehand. In addition to the free stuff they offer, et cetera, Cross Bible also has, which I literally just am about to click order on as soon as we're off the stream, a $35 timeline of the Bible poster. It's not free. It's $35, and it's not a king's ransom. And there's also a 2-foot by 3-foot Greek pronunciation poster. I am ordering both and slamming them on my walls right there. Here, I have a huge, probably 3-foot by 2-foot poster of a timeline of ancient history, where it correlates stuff that happened in contemporary history and what was going on in the Bible at that time. These two posters will go well. So if you're a Bible nerd, go to Cross Bible. The link is on the screen, and you can get the free stuff JM is talking about, but that paid stuff, it looks absolutely amazing.
Yeah, this is the Bible timeline poster. That's what this one is. Awesome. Okay, let's do the giveaway. So if you want to be entered to win the Cross Bible poster, put the word cross as a comment. First person that puts cross, and we will get this shipped to you. I'm not going to spell cross for you. And then while they're doing that,
Cross is we have a winner for Cross. Frank 88.
S Franks 88. S Franks 88. Shoot me an email. Tell me you won the Cross Bible poster. Give me your US shipping address, and I will get it to you. Okay.
Email is on the screen. Remember your name, where to ship it to, what you won.
Yes, if you win anything. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I've got 10 more Bibles that I'd love to give away. But this one, we want to do a special one. So this is for our grown-ups table members. So if you don't know about the grown-ups tables, you see me, by the way, I've been drinking all night from my Disciple Dojo water bottle with the Old Testament timeline on it. These are available in our store. But I had a special one printed up, and this is one of the water bottles for the grown-ups table. And there's a QR code that takes you right to the group where you can join. For those of you that don't know what the grown-ups table is, it is community for unmarried Christians. We started it 3 years ago. We just had our 3rd anniversary. There are about 5,600 members all over the world. Some of you are in this chat. We have grown-ups table events in different cities. There's grown-ups table members in Tulsa, Atlanta, Charlotte, Charleston, Tokyo. We just had Austin, Dallas. There's grown-ups table communities are popping up everywhere, but they're all happening by our connecting in the Facebook group, the grown-ups table Facebook group. So some people say, well, I'm not on Facebook. What about me? Make a Facebook account. It's free. You don't have to put any information you don't want in there. But if you want to participate in a Facebook group, you have to have a Facebook account. But the Facebook account, the group, is where we get to interact with each other. It's where we meet one another. It's where we talk about, we have a rule in the group. You'll hear moderators mention it if you're part of it. Rule 5, you're not allowed to post drive-by posts. Drive-by posts are any posts that are inspirational, that just preach your opinion, or that don't invite discussion. It's a discussion-focused group. And the moderators at my command are ruthless about, we have a place, we have different messenger communities. So through Facebook Messenger, you join the Grown-Ups Table Texas Facebook group community. You join the Grown-Ups Table Charlotte Facebook Messenger community. That's how you get connected to your local Grown-Ups Table members. But in the main, and we have one for prayer requests. We have one for single parents. We have one for widows and widowers. So there's some different stage of life things that we have a few special messenger communities for that. All of it happens in the group on Facebook, the Grown-Ups Table. And these are not for sale in our Disciple Dojo store. So this is a one of one Grown-Ups Table water bottle. I think it's like 30 ounces, 20 something ounces. I don't know. But anyway, I want to give this away to, we have a bunch of Grown-Ups Table members in the group tonight. So I'd love for one of you to win.
Leave Jam is gone. Yes, he is. And he is back.
So don't know where it cut me off, but let's
one of you to win.
Let's give this away to those of you who are in the Grown-Ups Table. If you're on this chat and you'd like to be entered to win, can Gregory pull up the wheel?
It's up.
Because this is like a $35 bottle, so it's not insignificant. These are really good. Can you hear the metal dinging? If you're a Grown-Ups Table member and you want to be entered to win this bottle, put in the chat Grown-Ups, one word spelled just like this, Grown-Ups, with or without the apostrophe. I've removed the apostrophe for this new design, but Grown-Ups. Put this in the chat if you are a member of the Grown-Ups Table. And over the next 60 seconds, Gregory will be collating those and we'll put them in the wheel. And we will spin it and give it to a winner. These are also nice because you can, I have a carabiner for my keys. So I can clip the keys onto here and take it when I go work out or hike. I don't hike, but if I did, I could do that. All right. Oh, love seeing you guys in the chat. Kimiko, Mark, Megan, Renee, Jamie, Anna, S. Bosch 12. Who is S. Bosch in the group? I just know everybody's Facebook names, not your YouTube handles.
Someone got banned or booted from the comments. You can guess who the someone is.
Oh, is the obnoxious person just posting complimentary of drivel?
Yeah.
Guys, listen.
I wouldn't even call that complimentarian. That was just,
I was gonna say there's like good complementarianism, and the Grown-Ups Table, by the way, is we have both complementarian egalitarians. There's good and healthy complementarianism, and then there's annoying jackass complementarianism. Don't be the latter. And that's the same for egalitarians. I've heard some shrill, annoying egalitarians too. Don't be those people. You're not persuading anybody, and you're not speaking from the Lord or speaking truth. You're being obnoxious and divisive. And that's something that Scripture never wants. So we love and welcome spirited debate and disagreement. Dojos are a place where you spar. We welcome sparring. But if I have female guests on the channel and you're just posting complimentary and nonsense in the chat, you need to reevaluate your life. That's all I'll say. All right. We've got a lot of grown-up folk. Do we have enough to
in the chat, in the wheel? Sorry.
All right. While Gregory's doing that, I'm going to show you guys some of the other Bibles that we're going to be giving away. We'll do a couple. I'll do one more question, and then we'll do some of these Bibles. We're going to be giving away the NIV Application Bible. This was given to me at SBL by Zondervan, and this is a large print edition. So those of you that have complained about some of the smaller print, you can rejoice. This is a condensed version of the NIV Application Commentary Series and the NIV Application 1-volume commentary. So there's 3 tiers I can't reach it. It's up behind me, but up above me on the shelf, there's a 1-volume NIV application commentary. And then mixed into my other commentaries, there's the NIV application commentary series, which is like a bunch of volumes. This is super condensed, that material, down into a portable single study Bible volume. So we're going to be giving this one away. And for the Bible giveaways for this one and this one, Preston Sprinkle was nice enough to give me a copy. He was on the channel recently of the Upside Down Kingdom Bible. For these two that we're going to be giving away, even if you already won something, you can still enter to win these. These will be kind of like the final ones that we give away. So stay tuned to the end of the chat for these, or the end of the live stream for those. We have some others, but let's spin the wheel. Are we ready to spin the wheel, Gregory?
100%.
All right, let's get the wheel. All right, these are our grown-ups table members in the chat. And let's see who's going to win our grown-ups table water bottle. Jessica 246, you are the winner. Email me. Actually, you're in the grown-ups table. You can shoot me a Facebook message, and I'll arrange to get this.
Yes, Jessica. Shoot him an email or reach him in the grown-ups table. You know how to reach JM. You've been one. I know it's pointing at Colton now because I removed Jessica already, but Jessica won that first one. Are we doing more than one spin?
Let's do another spin for yes. Oh wait, so no, not for grown. Sorry. This spin doesn't count. Don't worry about this spin.
Disregard spin. Unspinning right now.
Yes. Kimiko, I will get you something because you're our grown-ups table Tokyo member. So you know I'm going to make sure you get something eventually. But for the one other thing we're going to add to is this book that IVP sent me recently is The Authority of the Septuagint, Biblical, Historical, and Theological Approaches. This is edited by Greg Lanier and William Ross. They teach at RTS. They are both Septuagint experts. They edited the Reader's edition of the Septuagint, which is the big, thick 2-volume work by a friend at Henderson's. And this is a collection of essays all about the Septuagint, which is the Greek translation of the Old Testament. This is Bible nerd top shelf stuff. I have skimmed, but I have not worked through this yet. This is on my reading list. But it's got a friend of the channel, Mark Ward. He did an excursus, and Mirdo Theochoris, who wrote one of the best commentaries on Habakkuk. She has a chapter in this. Karen Jobs, who's a phenomenal Septuagint scholar, has the afterword. So this is a very, very good biblical scholar resource. This does presuppose that you don't have to read Greek or Hebrew necessarily, but there will be times where they don't transliterate the Hebrew or the Greek. So this presupposes that you're able to at least read the language, even if your Greek or your Hebrew is super rusty, because it's a scholarly resource. So we're going to give this one away as well at the end of the feed. So we got 2 Bibles that will be our final giveaway, and those will be open to everyone. We're coming up on the end. Let's do a spell of Bibles. Let me show you what these are, and then we're going to do the wheel. So Gregory will reload the wheel with different names, and we'll just rapid fire these because a lot of these are translations that I have reviewed on the channel, and some I think are great. Some I think are, I don't think they're that great, but you might want them. Somebody might want one. It depends because everybody has different tastes. So first Bible we're going to do is the Christian Growth Study Bible.
Let's JM, if we can, let's give them some more time to post in the chat. Say first what you want them to post in the chat.
Yes. So you're going to post for this one. You're just going to post the word Bible if you want any of these. Let me show you what they are, the ones that we're going to be doing. So the Christian Growth Study Bible is one, and I've reviewed all these on the channel. The Spirit-Filled Life Bible, I reviewed this recently. This is a charismatic Pentecostal study Bible. The Christian Growth Study Bible is for like discipleship. It's sort of a devotional or a beginner Bible. Spirit-Filled Life Bible is a charismatic. The Defending the Faith Study Bible, this is in the New King James. This is an apologetics type Bible. Now, its theology is not always what I would espouse, but if you want a New King James, it's full color. You can see the review if you want my thoughts on it, but we're going to give it away. And then we're going to give away a copy of the Amplified Bible. This is just a text-only Amplified Bible. Some people really love the Amplified Bible. Some people really don't love it. It has its purpose, used with care, I would say. But if you want the Amplified, we've got this one, and it's this kind of leatherish binding from Zondervan. And then, yeah, so we had a bunch. We're going to do a bunch of these all at once. We have the Abide Bible. I've reviewed this one a long time ago, but this is like a nicer, I don't know what you call this material, but it's not leather, but it's nice. This is like a reflection Bible, like a devotion.
I'm going to assume Bible he was about to say. It's a devotional Bible, I assume he was about to say. Lots of you have already, JM, you back? Thought you were back. Oh, there you are. Yeah, there you are. Now he's back. Devotional Bible you were about to say.
Yeah, devotional Bible. It's got a lot of room in the margins for taking notes. It's got things that guide you through praying. This is not a study Bible. This is for your tea time, quiet time Bible studying. And then we're going to give away the Tree of Life Bible. I just reviewed this one. This is the Messianic Jewish translation. You can see my thoughts on it in that episode. It's grouped in the Hebrew book order, not the Septuagint Old Testament order. And it has at the end a devotional through the Psalms. And these are written by different worship leaders and musicians of whom I'm not familiar. But this is also kind of a leather type cover. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Couple more. We're going to be giving away the Fire Bible. I've reviewed this one. This is another charismatic Bible. This one is in the New Living Translation, the NLT. It's actually got a really cool cover. You can see my thoughts on it.
Is that full wood? Like, does it feel like wood, or is it just
no? It's a leathery.
That's beautiful.
It's really, yeah. They did a great job with the cover design. It is. See my review. I don't love everything in it in terms of the content, but it's a New Living Translation, and some people really, really like this. Like my study Bible reviews, again, they're my personal opinions. They're not meant to be definitive, this is the good Bible and the not so good Bible. Different people will resonate with different things. One more, last one that we're going to give before the big one, the CEB Storyteller's Bible. This is a Common English Bible. This one takes scripture and presents it as a story. So there's passages in it. My lighting in here is all kinds of messed up tonight. There's passages that explain like the narrative, what's going on in the story so far. Then you have the text itself. So it breaks it up into like sections. So you're getting the story of scripture. And that's the whole point, is for you to be able to see scripture as a story, not just something to study. But it doesn't have a lot of study notes. So it's kind of like a reading Bible with a few hints. All the story sections are in blue font. That doesn't really show up well on my camera, but that's blue font. And then some reflection things. So I've reviewed this as well. You can see my thoughts on it. So these are the ones we're going to give away with the wheel spin. So if you want to win any of these, put Bible in the chat.
Like
Gregory.
everyone commented Bible in the chat already. I feel like I have almost 50 comments of Bible. I'm just collecting them, so keep talking.
Yeah. And then after this, we'll do one more. Yep. All right. You ready?
Almost.
Keep going, keep going.
Whew. Just made it to the top. Got them all. So let me just drop them into the
Are there still
wheel.
people? There's still people coming in, or are you getting all those?
I got them all. It's a lot. Wow. Y'all were not kidding around.
All right.
Let's drop here. Boom.
Okay, and remember, while Gregory's getting the wheel ready, if you win one of these, you have to email me, and you have to email me which one you win. So I won't remember. You have to give me your name, your U.S. shipping address. I can't ship overseas, and then which of these you win, and we will get it to you.
Actually, I need to. I run out of pins, so give me a second. Give me a second. Won't allow me to pin more than 50, so I need to actually drop out some of these. Holy smoke, y'all went hard. Okay, so I got. Oops. Yeah, this first bunch. 1 second.
Yeah, the people that have already won something, not eligible for this one. The ones that we do at the end, these last.
He'll be back. You know how it's been going. Sit tight. You were saying, JM, the ones we do at the end.
Yeah, those are going to be, we'll do those in the chat. But these will be the wheel.
Hold on. Okay, gotcha. So I'm getting the last of the people that said Bible, because a few of them, we've got to our limit of the amount of names I could grab. Hold on.
Colton makes a good point. He said there's 102 people in the chat, only 55 likes. Make it make sense. Yeah, guys, if you want to tap the like, that really helps us on YouTube if you haven't done it already. I think most people just forget. I do when I'm watching videos. Don't ever underestimate how big a deal it is if you see a YouTube channel or a video to like it. And then if you like the channel, to subscribe. A lot of people just watch, but without ever subscribing. And it makes a very big difference on our end if you subscribe. So if you aren't already subscribed to Disciple Dojo or to Bible Hacking, who's hosting this, please subscribe. And then it's an even bigger deal if when you subscribe, you tap that bell icon. That's notification. That's a way of telling YouTube, I like this channel and I want to see more when this channel puts out content. And then that tells YouTube, oh, there's an audience for this channel. We should probably bump them up in the algorithm and get more people, get them in front of more eyes. So those are little things. They don't cost anything, but they really do help people that do YouTube.
For those who need a clarification on this, while I'm still clicking, I'm still picking up names, by the way. You guys went crazy on this post. Awesome. Thank you. For those who wondering about that, if you are a Christian and you're concerned about like evangelism and that kind of stuff, this is digital evangelism. Yeah. When you like one of JM's videos, the algorithm decides or determines that people are interested in his content. It then decides to send that video spontaneously to other people who are not subscribed to JM. So yeah, JM has tens of thousands of subscribers. The way we get the message out to people that are not subscribers, potentially not Christians, but they like history, or they like martial arts, or they like a dating table for singles, etc., etc., etc. I'm serious. The algorithm will hear, will look at the transcript of what's being mentioned and say, this person over here doesn't follow JM, but might be interested in this topic because they're talking about Egyptian history and they're talking about Senamut and they're talking about XYZ and El and Baal, etc., etc. So the engagement with the content is very important. It's not a vanity thing to go out and say, I got 100 likes on this. It's really so the algorithm can be aware of, hey, people, it's not just JM here talking to himself. people actually are engaging with them and they're actually connecting. Trick little thing for you nerds that like to think about the algorithm and that kind of stuff. The comments, hey, comment Bible, that also helps tremendously. So the fact that so many of you typed Bible, it's taken me so long to get the comments collected, also tells the algorithm, holy cow, whatever JM is talking about right now, his audience is actively listening and reacting to what he's saying. The questions, the Q&A, that's why you'll see a lot of channels that are trying to grow. A lot of them will now start doing more live streams and more engagement, things like this, because that's how the algorithm detects that, holy cow, this dude is serious. And more importantly, his audience is really paying attention to him.
Oh.
Nerd.
Yeah, I was laughing because you called it the dating table, and we have many people in it who do not want to date anyone and are happily single. So right. I just have to say, we don't discourage dating at the table, but we do. Yeah, we got some people that do it.
Okay, hold on a second. I got the last of the comments.
All right.
Pop them into the thingamajigabob and clean it up, and then we're going to go live. So 1 second.
All right. And guys, again, technical issues we've had all night. This is why this stream is running a little bit late. It's right at 10, but we're going to do these giveaways, and then we'll call it a night. Maybe one other question if there's a good one, but
just cleaning up the names. Give me a couple of seconds. Fine. As a matter of fact, hold on a quick second. Any other great questions in there, JM? Start talking about a question if there is a super duper.
Yeah. I'll grab one. There's one that says KLB Bringman says question.
You were starting to read the question. KLB something.
Yep. Me off, and so I can't see the chat when it kicks me off.
Is that the one starting a serious study of the Bible?
Yes.
Fire away.
I can't see it anymore. It kicked me off, so I lost.
I put it on screen. It should be on screen.
Oh, there we go. Okay. Yeah. Question: starting a more serious study of the Bible, which is like a textbook recommendation for the Old Testament, survey of the Testament. Okay, you said question, but then this is not a question. So let me see if I can decipher this. Starting a more serious study of the Bible, which is like a textbook recommendation for the Old Testament. Survey of the Old Testament, 4th edition, Andrew. Are you asking for another recommendation, or are you asking what? I mean, I have Survey of the Old Testament. It's right up behind me. It's a thick textbook used in college or Bible college or seminary intro courses. Surveys are textbooks that give you the most information about, in this case, the Old Testament, but not a lot of in-depth information about anything specific, because it's basically surveying the entire text and then giving you the highlights. So it's a little more than you'd find in a study Bible, but not what you would find in a commentary necessarily, or a book just about that particular book of the Bible. So in terms of that particular Old Testament survey by Hill, I believe it's Hill and Walton, it's very good. It's very heavy. It's very expensive. It's full color. And yeah, it's definitely one that it's reputable. It's definitely reputable. Okay, Gregory, you got the wheel?
Almost. Halfway
right.
through cleaning it.
There was somebody, MMJF1Me says, please answer earlier question about local church versus personal Bible study. I don't know what that earlier question was. So if somebody reposts it, maybe I can take a look. Watchtower Hunter, I had no idea the algorithm actually scanned the transcript. Absolutely. Every YouTube video, it automatically creates a transcript. YouTube uses that to determine to sell to advertisers, what advertisers want to. That's how they try to match up the most interested advertisers with the video content, so that then, you know, YouTube wants creators to succeed. Like, they want us 100% to do well, because then YouTube does well. So it's kind of like a win-win for everybody. When a channel does well, YouTube does well, advertisers want to put their ads in that video's content. And so it's all part of it. It's just all
And
part of the game.
while I'm still cleaning, let me just add some context to that. This will probably freak some of you out. YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, all of them, on Facebook, every single one of them, they're all noticing humans' attention span shorter. So there are a lot of focus on the short, like clip type things. They not only look at the transcripts of everyone, they look at how, like, especially if you're doing this on your phone, they look at how long your eyes stay focused on what part of the video, and determine by that, oh, you like that. If you ever wonder why the reels you get, if you ever go and start scrolling through reels, oh my God, these are all so amazing. It's because it's figured out what you like. If you're a Toyota guy and you like cars and you've looked at, literally, you didn't click, you didn't share, you didn't like, you didn't do anything. You just looked at 2 or 3 reels about Toyota trucks being amazing. It's going to start sending you more reels where anyone is talking about a Toyota truck. There's pictures of Toyota trucks, anything along those lines. So yeah, and some people consider that evil, whatever, you know, that's a different conversation. But the platforms are looking at everything you do, everything you watch. That's why in men's, don't do this, anyone necessarily, I do this. In men's accountability groups, I'll sometimes have the guys that I'm in relationship with. So don't be a jerk and go and do this to random strangers. Guys that I'm in relationship with, we're studying the Bible together, say, put down your phones, open up your TikTok or Instagram For You page feed. That exposes immediately what you're looking at. If I go to your For You page feed and all it has on it is girls in bikinis, the algorithm has figured out that you like girls in bikinis. If all you're seeing is stuff about history and the Bible, the algorithm has figured out this is the kind of stuff you like. You don't need to click on it. You could hide it. You could try to delete that you looked at it. The algorithm has figured out this dude likes that. I am going to send it to him.
Yep. Big
So
brothers.
do with that what you would. Almost done with the cleaning. Someone just joined. Oh, that's JM that got kicked again. 1 second. Almost done with the cleaning. We're like a couple seconds away. You're back, JM.
Yep. So yeah, just Big Brother is always watching and gathering data on you. Whether you think that's good or not is up for debate, but it's the reality we live in the world.
Yep, exactly. Whether you think it's good or not at this point has nothing to do with it. Also, JM mentioned earlier, I'm going to just mention this here because and we're done with the list, FYI.
Okay, good.
Let's get these here because you mentioned it earlier. Some people are concerned about, I don't have a Facebook account. It's too intrusive, blah, 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 blah. How I control my own personal Facebook accounts is I limit who I follow. So if you don't like all of the political stuff and this and that and the other and the people being, really fighting, don't follow it. If you don't follow it, it won't be on your feed as much. It's literally, and we can roll whenever you're ready, Jam. It's literally showing you the things that it has determined you're interested in. So if you don't like your feed, change what you like.
Yeah,
change what
you can kind of control your algorithm.
You 100% control it.
All right, let's spin the wheel. So this is going to be for the Defending the Faith Study Bible. We're just going to go right to left. So Defending the Faith Study Bible. The winner is Bryce Grow. Bryce, G-R-O. Email me. Say, I won the Defending the Faith Study Bible. That's the only way I'll know to get this to you. All right, let's spin it again. Next is going to be for the Abide, the devotional Bible, for the Abide.
You just put your email up there real quick. 1 second. Remember, email. Holy cow, the list has gotten so crazy long. Remember, email, name, mailing address, what you won.
Yep. All right, the winner for the Abide, the devotional Bible, is going to be... Ooh, Adrian. All right. Adrian, you won. Let me hear from you. Abide devotional Bible. Next up, the Fire Bible. The Fire Bible.
With the pretty cover, but the questionable content. The Fire Bible. I hope the Fire Bible publisher is in here yelling at me right now.
Well, I mean, my reviews are pretty public. Renee Lacey, 7058. You win the Fire Bible. email me. I'll get it to you. All right, next up, the CEB Storyteller's Bible. And remember, these are all Bibles I've reviewed, so they may have highlighting in them. Some were donated, so they may have some markings or something. These are used. Word of Truth. Word of Truth 7806. All right, next up, the Christian Growth Bible. This is in the NIV translation, by the way.
May the algorithm be forever in your favor. Dinky Bunny.
Dinky Bunny. Dinky Bunny, you win the Christian Growth Bible. All right, let's do the Spirit-Filled Life Bible. The winner is...
Ooh, that was close.
My Parallax View. Astronomy fan, I love it. My Parallax View, you win the Spirit-Filled Life Bible if you email me. Amplified Bible. Amplified is going to Lasglez0. Lasglez0. You win the Amplified. Lastly, the Tree of Life for this round.
Someone said serious props are getting all those names in the wheel. It was not easy.
Tree of Life Bible is going to Chloe Martell, 9927. Chloe, Tree of Life Bible is yours. All right, you guys have to email me or I cannot get these to you and they will just go to Goodwill. So
tick tock, tick tock, tick tock. There we go. And he's back.
oh my gosh, this stream is killing me tonight. Okay.
As the JM said, email him your name, your correct mailing address must be in the US. What you won, email him now.
Yes.
Keep the stream running in the background. You can hear it. Go and send the email now. The dude wants to mail everything out by tomorrow or Sunday in one shot.
Yeah.
Get them out to you.
Yeah, it'd be great. I had somebody message me like 2 weeks later after they won something one time. I was like, and they didn't tell me what. I was like, I don't remember. You lose. Yeah, these will go to Goodwill if I don't
His
get
tables, shelves, and storage will thank you.
yeah, for sure. Because you guys can't see what I see, but I am in a small apartment here.
Someone said, pass the hat to get JM better internet. I'm going to say get better internet and less Apple computers. Yes, I will hate on the Apple developers also.
Listen, this is the only time this has ever done this.
True.
We've never had this problem before. I don't know what it is.
And it started from early, even like before the stream when you and I were just talking.
Yeah.
It's 15
it's
minutes.
been
We kicked him out twice. We were like, what the heck is happening?
Yeah, Restream has not been at its best tonight. All right, let's do, are there any more? Let's do maybe one final question if anybody has real quick, and then I'll get ready. We'll do the last giveaways of the night. We'll do 2 more Bibles and the Septuagint. We'll do the Septuagint giveaway first. I want to make sure an actual Bible nerd gets this because this is a really good resource, and it's not cheap. It's yeah. I just want to make sure this is not just like, oh yeah, I won, and then it just doesn't ever get used. Like this is quality biblical scholarship. All right. I see a question from DJ Lopez 214. Says, thoughts on being at peace with church teachings, even when you disagree on things. Join my church because I think we agree missiologically and most doctrinally. Bible nerddom has made it hard. That's a really, really good question. And I want to say this. You can have fellowship across theological lines. You should have fellowship across theological lines. And every person, you're going to have there are going to be things to you that are very important, things that are kind of important, and things that aren't important at all. And every church is going to it's going to align up in different ways with those things. So some things are like big level issues. I'll just give an example. Those of you that watch the channel, you know I am a strong advocate for um, listening to and realizing the body of Christ in Palestine and Arab countries. Like, I think Middle Eastern Christians get shafted by popular Christian evangelical eschatology, and they become a pawn in a bigger game of Left Behind, Late Great Planet Earth, what Revelation prophecy is going to unfold where, stand with Israel, the modern country, no matter what. So I could not be a member where I submit to the leadership of a church that was a Christian Zionist teaching church. I just personally couldn't do it. It would be too much of a struggle for me. I would be praying against the leadership. I would be praying for God to convict them, and I wouldn't be able in good conscience to submit to their leadership. But I could absolutely minister alongside and have fellowship in my life with people in those traditions. And in fact, I do. One of my really good friends is full on in that stream, and I love him, and we argue, but we genuinely love each other. So for me, that would be like a high level issue. For other people, if you're a woman and you're called to teach the Bible and you've been equipped and have a burning passion to teach and to preach, I don't think you could submit to a church that said you are not allowed to teach and to preach other than to kids or other women. That would be an issue where what you feel called by God to do is in direct conflict with your church leadership. So I could see that being, or vice versa. If you do not believe that women should be able to hold the position of ordained elder at a church, then you would not be able to submit yourself to the leadership of a church if it had. All right, where did it cut me off?
You were about to say if they have women in their leadership,
Yeah,
if you're able to submit to that.
Yeah, you wouldn't be able in good conscience to submit. So the reason I mention that is not to single out any particular view. It's to say that the importance of a doctrine in your personal ministry calling is going to determine where you land in your local church. I go to a church now and I love it. I love being a part of it. I know that the teachers are more reformed than I am. I know that the primary pastors on staff have more of an Augustinian, more of a Lutheran, more of a Reform, more of a Calvinistic view than I hold. But they're incredible teachers and they're incredible pastors, and the community is amazing. And they know that I'm not of that, but they also know that I'm not trying to undermine their ministry by, going around in the church and teaching people why they're wrong. So for me, it's a level where I can be comfortable and submit to their leadership without having to compromise something that's like at the core of who I am theologically. So for different people, there are going to be different things that you are able and aren't able to submit to. I wouldn't look for those things. Like if you go to a church and the pastor believes in old earth creationism or evolution, guided evolution by God, and you are a young earth creationist, I would encourage you to sit under that pastor's teaching and let that be an issue that you can agree to have differences on and be willing to learn from. But I just say that because that's not a hill I would die on personally. So there may be some for you that are different, and everybody's going to land where you are, but try to make those as few as possible, things that you are willing to leave a church for. Yeah, that would be my advice. It's a long-winded answer, but it's an issue that's very easy for Bible nerds and theology nerds to become Bible snobs and theology snobs, and to become divisive, just like the knucklehead that was in the chat earlier, dropping Bible verses about women in ministry. That is not fruit of the Spirit. That's a divisiveness. And it's very easy to become that in our zeal for what we think is important. And so we just have to be able to throttle back and say, is this a first level issue? Is this a second level issue? Is this not even worth considering as an issue?
And I assure you, as a Bible nerd myself, that gets highly omitted if you don't agree with something that I think is absolutely clear in Bible, like, complementarian versus egalitarian. I think that's super, super clear in the Bible. But if you don't agree with it, rather than get highly omitted, I think there is a valuable theological, biblically based lesson in there, like JM just said, for you to sit under that thing that you disagree with, to learn to disagree properly. Our response as Christians to every disagreement need not be, I now need to separate myself and leave. A lot of times the response to disagreement is, I'm going to sit put and be under submission to where I believe God has put me, and agree to disagree and still keep serving, still keep being generous, still keep all of it. But I disagree on this one point, but that's not a salvific point. And I think that's probably the bigger lesson in the disagreements than trying to find, like, I'm in a couple of really big Bible groups on Facebook, and there's always this question. Does anyone know a church that agrees with this thing that we stand on? We stand on, whether it's Reform or whether it's, Heiser's theological stance, or whether it's the Orthodox thing, whatever. Do anyone know of churches in your region that I'm looking for a church that believes in this in Tulsa, Oklahoma, or Dallas, Texas? And I always sit and I think, I'm like, do you really need a church that reinforces all of the things you already believe in? Or should you maybe go to a church that doesn't agree with some of it so you can learn to interact with them? 75% of the Pauline corpus in the obviously in the New Testament is Paul telling, the church how to get along with each other.
Yeah. And churches are going to be judged by, we're going to be judged by our faithfulness to the gospel for sure. But we're not necessarily going to be judged by our theological acumen. We're going to be judged by how we love one another and how we love the world and how faithful we are. So yeah, keeping things in perspective. That you mentioned the Heiser point. That's a great one. I know Christians that'll dismiss anybody that
dismiss anybody that, and I don't want to call it a Heiserite. I love Dr. Heiser's work. Jam and I actually disagree on this. I was just about to elucidate a bit more. You and I, JM, actually disagree, because I've heard your reviews of his books on much of the Heiser thing. It doesn't stop me from coming here and serving you and your channel. Like, I could care less that we disagree on it. It is what it is.
There's there's going to be plenty of issues. There's things that Carmen and I disagree on, and she's one of my favorite biblical minds in the world. Same thing with Richard Middleton. There's just David De Silva, like all the people who I really, really respect and cherish their ministries. There's some things that I'm like, I don't land there. We land differently on that, and it's okay. We're strengthened for it. So I completely agree with what you're saying. It's just, don't make something a hill to die on that Scripture doesn't make a hill to die on.
The best scholars will always say the things that the Bible speaks softly about, you don't want to be yelling loud about it. The Bible doesn't speak super loud about eschatology and translating and figuring out when the end times is going to happen. That's not, like, there's very little content about that. But we make that a hill that we will absolutely slaughter each other on. And it's crazy talk.
Well, Gregory, let's do this. Let's load up the wheel for this giveaway. And I'm going to have, and then I want to answer JSK 95's question, because he raised a really good question about the annihilationism controversy that's going on right now. And I say controversy in quotes, because basically it's like Christian heresy hunters are mad at Kirk Cameron for his view on hell. There are a few things I could care less about in this world, but it does touch on exactly what we've been talking about. So it's a great question. But if you want to win, this is The Authority of the Septuagint by Lanier and Ross. Again, this is a scholarly work. This is not going to be light devotional reading. But if you're a Septuagint nerd or an Old Testament nerd, this is for you. Put LXX in the chat. Capital L, capital X, capital X, if you want to be entered to win this volume. And we'll spin the wheel. We'll give that one. I'll answer this question, and then we'll give away our last two Bibles. The question on annihilationism, if you don't know, hold on. Let me move Master Chief here.
Y'all start commenting LLX in the chat.
Okay, so
And
you may be out of the loop, and people who frequent YouTube and get real involved in like the
arguments.
debates, they aren't always the most
Nice. Sorry, I mean,
experienced, I would say.
Yeah.
They aren't always the most up to date on views that aren't their own. We'll say that. So Kirk Cameron, people, I guess, like him and listen to his podcast, and he said that he was struggling, and now he embraces, or maybe was giving thought to, the idea of the doctrine of annihilationism. So annihilationism is the belief that when people die and at the final judgment, wherever you think the intermediate state is, at the final judgment, when God raises the dead and judges the world, wherever you think that happens in relation to a millennium or any earthly events, at that point, God is going to, the righteous will enter the kingdom of heaven and the new creations and what we call heaven, and the wicked will be consigned to hell or to Gehenna or the lake of fire or any of these other analogies. So the traditional view, and I say traditional in quotes because it's the most widespread, is that hell, or that final state, I'm just going to call it hell, even though hell is a Greek word and there's a whole debate on that. The view says that that final negative judgment state is a place where you live forever in eternal conscious torment. So you are tormented outside of the presence of God eternally, and you are conscious. So that's the traditional view of, or a traditional view of hell. Another view that is very old, going all the way back to some of the church fathers, says, no, if you read the biblical passages, you actually see that the final fate of the wicked is destruction, not eternal existence, because nobody has eternal life in and of themselves. Even in the garden, Adam and Eve didn't have eternal life. They had to eat from the tree of
He'll be back. They had to eat from the tree of
life in order to live eternally. And so the only immortality that anyone has is conditional immortality, which means the only people who will exist forever are those who exist forever with God. And those who are consigned to what's called hell at some point, maybe instantaneously, maybe after a long time, who knows? At some point, they will be annihilated. They will be destroyed. They will be done away with and will no longer exist. And that's the ultimate punishment, because what could be worse than not existing at all? You lose everything that even makes you you. It's the complete and total final. It's ultimately hell. So that's view is called annihilationism. And Christians have debated it for thousands of years. Internet Christians think it's a new thing. And when they hear Kirk Cameron say, oh, I think the annihilationist view is a little more convincing, they lose their minds. And they start saying he's a false teacher. He's fallen away from the faith. He's blah, 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 blah. It's exactly what Gregory and I were just talking about. It's just not true. It's been going on. Here's two resources. I've had this since the 90s, since 1996. 4 Views on Hell. This was the old Zonder and Counterpoint series. And so there was the literal, the metaphorical, the purgatorial, and the conditional. These are different ways people have interpreted hell. They've updated this more recently in the new Counterpoint series, and it lets the contributors, Denny Burke, John Stackhouse, Robin Perry, Jerry Walls. I think Denny Burke is one of the ones who's been getting so upset with Kirk Cameron, or who posted something about him being heretical. I've only seen it on social media. I don't know. But the point is, there have always been multiple views. All of the contributors to this would uphold the authority of Scripture. Well, some of them might not. I don't know. Clark Pinnock, he might have. I don't know if he revised his view later in life. But the bulk of these contributors would be they would consider themselves within Orthodox Christianity in a broad sense. So the only reason I bring this up is because when you hear somebody adopt a particular view, whether it's annihilationism or eternal conscious punishment, whether it's penal substitutionary atonement or Christus Victor theory, any of these things, before you get outraged or write somebody off or give into the YouTube clickbait algorithm, and start dismissing people for it, just ask yourself, is this a debate that Christians have been having for a long time? And if so, learn about it. Learn what the different positions are. I personally take an agnostic approach on this. I think you can make a case for eternal conscious torment, but if I'm being honest, as a Hebrew Bible reader, I think the case for annihilationism is a lot stronger than most people think it is. And I might even lean in that direction. If somebody said today, pick a view and tell me which one you believe, I would probably lean towards annihilationism, but I'm not 100% convinced on it because I don't think the Bible gives us all of the ins and outs in order for us to have 100% certainty on it. So it's one of those where Christians can disagree, just disagree charitably. Wes Huff had a good video or a good social media post about this. Wesley Huff, he's a very conservative Christian scholar. He's a good scholar. He's a good apologist. And then Gavin Ortlund here on YouTube, I just reposted his video yesterday on this issue. It was fantastic. It was a fantastic take on it. So I definitely recommend both of those guys on it. And John Stott, one of my favorite Christians of all time, was a main proponent of annihilationism. And he's as orthodox and as faithful a Christian as you'll ever find. So that's my long-winded answer. Let's spin this wheel, Gregory.
Almost. The wheel had an error. There we go. Now
there we go. All right.
Are you ready?
Right. All right. This is for the Septuagint. The winner is the U Exodus 8077. Email me. I can't get this to you unless you email me. And this is worth having. All right. Let me do one more. Somebody said, I look forward to hearing you teach on it because I'm fine.
You were saying, JM, you were saying that someone said they look forward to you teaching on it.
Yeah, somebody said they look forward to me teaching on it. And I was saying I probably won't because that's a systematic theology question. And I do more biblical studies than systematic theology. So, I mean, unless I have a guest on that's done some work on it, I typically don't spend a lot of time teaching on those things. Just it's not my wheelhouse. It's not my lane. So I try to stay in my lane. But in our series here in the podcast, we have the Disciple Dojo has a podcast, and I'm wearing a TENS machine, by the way, because my back's been really, really bad lately. So I've been being zapped with electricity for this whole live stream.
Maybe that's sending the internet crazy.
Well, it could be. Maybe that's why. One of the pads just came off and it's like shot the crap out of me. But what I was gonna say is on our podcast, the Apocalypse Now, what the Bible teaches about the end times, we mention annihilationism in the final session of that podcast. It's not here on YouTube. It's audio only because I taught it like 15 years ago. But if you're interested in that, that would be where I would send you first. And then we have recommended resources in that series. I would say go from there and check those out. So that Zondervan Counterpoint series would be where I'd tell you to start, because there you'll get the biggest or you'll get the most like succinct overview from people that have different views. And then you'll get to hear the people who disagree with their views interact with them about it. So it's like listening into four theologians debate something, which is, I think, one of the best ways to learn, because then you hear the strength of each view by somebody who believes it. And then you hear the critique of that view by somebody who doesn't believe it. And then they get to respond to the objection. So That's a really, really good series. Just in general, I'd recommend. Okay.
We got a wheel. We can spin if you need.
Yeah, let's do. I said we'll do first in the chats, but if you've got the wheel up and we want to spin it, let's do. I think that's the fairest way. So that way, if somebody is having internet issues, so let's do one more. We'll flip it up. We'll do one final 2 spins of the wheel. So put in the chat right now. These are both in.
We got the wheel up already.
Oh,
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying. No. Yeah.
Yeah,
go
for
ahead,
the people, because people who've won already, you can enter this for this one too. These are the final of the night. So even if you've already won something, we want to give everybody a chance to win one of these. So if you are interested in winning either of these, since these are both in the NIV, just put NIV in the chat. And for those of you who are joining late, the 2 that we're giving away are the application, NIV application Bible, large print. So you can get a sense of the scale. And then we're giving away the Upside Down Kingdom Bible, also in the NIV. And this one, this is a single column. It's got a lot of space for taking notes. It's not a traditional study Bible. The notes, you can see my review on it. It's very good. The notes are how does the Bible speak to issues in the world today? Here's a note on trauma and resilience. There are things on human trafficking. There are things on leadership and power, role of women. It speaks to, here's one on slavery, an article about slavery. So I reviewed this, race and ethnicity, abortion and reproduction. This is, how do you make the Bible, what does the Bible have to say, and how does the Bible how does the Bible speak against some of the things that are so ubiquitous in our culture? So it's called the Upside Down Kingdom Bible because the ethic of Jesus turned the world upside down. That's literally what people said about Jesus's followers. These people are turning the world upside down. So that's kind of the theme of this. And it's very good. I was impressed with it for what it is. It's not an in-depth technical study Bible, but I think it's, for what it is, it's very good. All right, so putting NIV in the chat while people are doing that. These will be the last 2 we do of the night. We've gone late.
We've gone late. He will be right back. We are updating the chat. 1 second here.
And oh, I lost the, okay, there we go. I was going to look for if there were any other while you're compiling. Archivin76 says, JM, get Dr. Aubrey Buster on to talk about her book on Daniel, co-authored with John Walton. If you're talking about her commentary on Daniel, because I believe that just came out in the New International Commentary series, I would gladly. I do not know Dr. Buster. I've only met John Walton on occasion, so I would gladly have them on. Put them in touch with me, and I'll happily do it. All right. Where are we standing, Gregory?
As good as done.
All right.
Y'all went hard with the NIV again. Thank you.
Oh, Gregory has a guest with him. What's up? Gregory, you're not going to introduce?
Absolutely not.
Who is this? All right.
It's my daughter, Ayan. One of my daughters, Ayan, sorry.
Ayan, welcome to the live stream.
The baby.
It's like the angel on one shoulder. You need the devil on the other.
No, I'm good. Thank you. Like any good dad, I probably shouldn't say this in front of her. She has me wrapped around her little finger. So as she needs, she can be both the angel and the devil. And yesterday was her birthday.
Hey, happy birthday.
Thank you.
I hope y'all did something fun to celebrate.
We allowed her to live another day. How's that?
So gracious.
Exactly, isn't it though? So let me pop this up here. The wheel is ready to rock.
All right.
Let's hide these lousy ads. Say when you're ready.
Yep. Let's spin the first one. This is going to be for the application, the NIV application, large print. Oh, Jessica 246. You're the big one tonight.
I know we could redo winners, so that's fine. But I think Jessica was our very first winner tonight.
Yeah. No, it's fine. This was open to everybody. So you win 2 things. So Jessica, you got to send me another email and tell me that you are the winner of the large print application Bible. All right, let's do our final one. It's at 10:40. We've gone over, but we've had fun and we've had good discussions. This one is going to be for the Upside Down Kingdom Bible, edited by our friend Preston Sprinkle, with contributions by a number of people whose work I very much appreciate. Let's get this one a new home. Ready when you are, Gregory.
I'm ready. Boom.
Spin it.
Thanks for all the birthday greetings. FYI, Ayan means gift from God. I am a girl dad. I got 2 daughters, but also a son. My eldest is a son.
All right. Oh, of course. It has to be a name that's...
You pronounce that.
User OG2QJ8ZG6Y. Seriously. You are the winner, whoever you are, whatever your real name is. You have to send me an email that says you won the Upside Down Kingdom Bible so I can get it sent to you. Otherwise, I don't know what I'm going to do with all these Bibles sitting around in my apartment. All right. Congratulations. Those of you who won, those of you who stuck around in the chat, those of you who commented, who interacted, who liked, subscribed. Those of you who are in the grown-ups table, shout out to the grown-ups. We have so much going on in that group. There are grown-ups Christmas parties coming. There's a grown-up ski trip in the works. We're going to have our summer retreat again at the beach next year. Last year, we had like 120 people from all over the world come. It's cool stuff's happening in the grown-ups table. So if you are an unmarried Christian, you have to love Jesus and you cannot be legally married. Those are the 2 criteria. And you have to be an adult. Sorry, 3 criteria. Legal adult, not legally married, love Jesus. We would love for you to join us at the grown-ups table. It's an awesome community, as the people in the chat can attest who are members. And I see a lot of the members in the chat. And
he'll be right back. Thanks for all the congrats and thanks for all the putting on the, thanking us for putting on the live. JM loves putting on these lives, as do I. Love helping him out. What's the term that we use, JM? I'm the Robin to your Batman, or I'm the
if you're, I mean, pick one
or whatever.
Yeah. You're the, you're not, man, I just had something that I thought
I am the, darn it. And I just, wait, I'm gonna give you the best one right now.
I
got it. I am the Cosmo to your Superman. Boom.
I'm not a DC guy, so I don't know that. I only know Batman and Robin.
The dog. In the last movie,
Crypto is the dog.
Crypto, my bad.
Okay, Crypto. I do know Crypto. Okay.
I'm the Crypto to your Superman. Boom.
No, you handle all this, because this doing the stream, even when it is working, is too much for me to handle, and my brain just doesn't compute the way yours does when it comes to tech stuff. So it's the body, the gifts of the body working together, man. That's the way. You're the feet, I'm the hands. We get it done how we can, and man, it's so appreciated.
Question for you, Sam. Are there many over 50 at the grown-ups table?
What's that?
Are there many people over 50 at the grown-ups table?
Oh, we're a perfect bell curve. So the majority of the people in the group are probably 40s. And then we have a number in their 50s and 60s and 70s. And then we have some in a pretty good number in their 30s, some in their 20s. But most of the group is probably 40 to 55, 40 to 60, somewhere in there. It's not age segregated. It's not a dating group or a matchmaking group. So we don't have age limits. It's not for college and career. It's not for retired and widowers, or it's for all of them. And that's what makes it different than other Christian groups. is very different than other Christian groups in that regard. We let people find their people, and they do, and it's awesome. So Gregory, hey, show off what you're wearing real quick.
Where is it? There. You should be able to see it like this.
Look at that. Boom. Gregory is modeling our Keep Training Disciple Dojo shirt. I sent him that, I think sometime earlier this year, last year. That's one of the newer designs that we have in the store. That's where like the resources, the bottles, and not resources, the gifts that we have. We don't sell any teaching resources. Like all the teaching and everything that we do is free. We turn off ads in all of our teaching videos. So on the YouTube channel, we turn off the mid-roll ads. So you may see something at the beginning or something at the end, but the teaching is uninterrupted so that they can be shown in small group settings or Sunday school or church group settings. And then we have some we turn on ads on things like interviews and book reviews and things like that. But all of these are just different ways that we try to make everything at Disciple Dojo freely available. All teaching is free. We don't ever take money in return for teaching. That's called simony, named after Simon Magus, and it's a sin. And so we don't do that. But we do say if you appreciate any teaching that we do, any of our resources, reviews, anything, and you want to show it, again, our monthly dojo donors are the lifeblood of this ministry. And even if it's $5 a month, $10 a month, we don't do Patreon. We don't do super chats here on YouTube. We don't sell YouTube membership. A lot of people do that, and YouTube's kind of pushing us to, but we don't want to do that. We want it to just be, if you appreciate this, you give. And if you want some stuff, like tangible stuff, like our Old Testament timeline mug or water bottle or the nice shirt Gregory's rocking or hats, this is we have a new Disciple Dojo design. This is our Disciple Dojo Samurai in front of the Aleppo Codex text of Joshua 1. So things like this, we have those available in the store. It's not we're not looking to be a clothing. We're not looking to be Damon on Shark Tank and start the new FUBU or anything like that. It's just a way. I'm an artist. I like getting fun designs out and people having stuff that kind of, oh, what's that? What's Disciple Dojo? And then getting the word of mouth. So if you do become a monthly dojo donor, I always say this in our videos, we have patches, iron-on patches. You'll see these on some of the hats that I wear, which are, of course, out of my reach right now. But if you become these are for our monthly donors. So if you become a monthly dojo donor at any amount, I don't care how much you give because I don't see it. Our board and our finance director has 100% oversight of all finances. I just do the teaching. If you become a dojo donor, all you have to do is shoot me an email, discipledojo@gmail.com, and just say
Just shoot me an email and say I
am a dojo donor and would love a patch, and tell me if you want a light color one or a dark color one, and I'll send one and give you your address to send it in the mail. But those are just small thank yous to, if you see one of those patches somewhere, that's a dojo donor. They're somebody who has tangibly given to the ministry. So it's kind of like a little, I don't know, it's like a little club that you get to be part of for helping keep this ministry going. Yeah, but all the teaching is free, all the resources, all that. Anyway, Gregory, man, we're coming up on, it's almost 11. We got
3 hours, 42 minutes and 9 seconds.
Man, this is like a Lex Friedman podcast at this point.
With almost 100 people still on right now as you are wrapping up. Like, if that's not the hint that you could log off, like, your audience loves you, bro. Keep it up.
Well, we are so appreciative, and all you guys that tuned in on a Friday night, winners, email me. I'm going to check my inbox after this, and I want to have like 30 emails from people for all these resources so I can get them to you in this coming week. So, all right, Gregory, brother.
This was amazing as usual. Thank you for having me, JM. Honored to be able to help and just serve your ministry here. This was really, really, really fun. It's inspiring and encouraging to me, just as a Christian, living in the West, etc., that there's such a hunger and an appetite for actual Bible study, good questions. Like the questions that pop up here are amazing, deep,
Yeah.
deep. Like that encourages my heart that I'm not the only weirdo out there that's concerned about, you know, how did Moses write that? And it's so keep it up. This is good. Hope everyone was encouraged. This was a phenomenal time tonight.
Yeah, you guys stay tuned. I'll try to chop out some of these questions in the coming weeks and put them as standalone videos. I've also got just insiders for those of you that are still on the stream. Next week, I'm interviewing Dr. Joey Dodson. He came on and talked about his book on Romans 7 last year, which is the best book on Romans 7 I've ever read. I'm having him back on because he's coming out with a new book in the coming year that he sent me a copy and I read it and it's great. It's called Paul the Rabbi Philosopher. And it takes a look at Paul and compares him to the rabbinic author of the Wisdom of Solomon and and Seneca. I think it's Seneca. It's either Seneca or Nero's tutor, the Roman ethicist, and it compares. I'm 90% sure it's Seneca, but it could be somebody else. Anyway, he compares how does Paul's writing fit within the rabbinic world and within the world of Greco-Roman philosophy, and how does Paul bridge the gap between the two. It's a very cool book. I'm having him on Monday, so that interview should come out later next week. And then the week after, I just read Drew Johnson's book, Interpreting Biblical Law, or it might be Understanding.
I think it was Interpreting.
It's on the shelf right behind me. Anyway, it's so good. I just did a review of it in my 4 recommended books on understanding the law. I would have added Carmen's got it my brain is fried. I would have had Carmen's first book. Why sign up? What is it? Why am I blanking on the name of her first book that's right there?
Bearing
God's name. Gosh, it's way too late. I would have that would have been on that list, but I've already had that. I've reviewed that book and we've had Carmen. I've talked about it so much. I wanted to highlight 3 others. So I stole her 3 shelves approach. Drew Johnson's was the book on the bottom shelf, the most popular level, user reader friendly. And then I did one that's a little more technical by Chris Wright, and then one that's very technical by Paul Sloan. Drew's going to be on the following week, so towards the end of this month, to talk about his book and how we understand and interpret biblical law. So we got some cool guests coming up in the new year. In January, Christopher Wright is scheduled to come on. We're going to talk about the updated 2nd edition of The Mission of God, which, if you've ever heard me or Carmen talk about, is the best work of overall biblical theology in the English language. He's coming on. He's my white whale in terms of scholars I've wanted to talk to that I finally landed. I'm super excited to have Chris Wright on in January. And yeah, we're just going to have a lot of cool stuff coming. The more you guys follow, like, subscribe, talk about, share, the more we're able to do stuff like this. So, all right, my friend.
I was literally timing it. I'm like, he hasn't gotten kicked off in a hot second here. He should get kicked off anytime now. Yeah, I was just saying. I was saying to myself, you haven't got kicked off in a minute.
There we go. That's definitely the sign. Time to wrap it up. So
this was great.